One of baseball's best and one of its oldest rivalries is renewed. They haven't played a lot lately, but there are certainly a lot of familiar faces, and they know each other well. Some of the young, some of the older stars. Garvey and Reggie, Mr. October, were in L.A., and it's a special evening edition of the Fox Saturday Game of the Week, and this great matchup of the Yankees and the Dodgers. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. That is Tim McCarver, and the Dodgers right now are 4 games out. They had a spurt, Tim, where they played pretty well, but it's been sloppy of late, and that's got to bother Joe Torre.
The Dodgers have been okay in the major categories of hitting, pitching, and fielding, but they've been very, very careless on the bases. Their base running atrocious. That has not made Joe Torre very happy. On the other hand, the Yankees have their flaws too, but they can overcome that with great starting pitching. CC Sabathia, Phil Hughes, and Andy Pettitte could all be in the All-Star game, and that is rare to get 3 guys out of one rotation.
One guy you didn't mention, though, A.J. Burnett gets the ball tonight for the New York Yankees, and he takes on Hiroki Kuroda. Should be a fun night in L.A. While the faces of this historic rivalry are engraved in our hearts and memories by players who authored some of baseball's greatest moments, it's the face of one man who garners the headlines for this renewal of the Yankees-Dodgers rivalry. Joe Torre, who led the Yankees to 4 World Championships as manager, faces his former team. It's a twist that could only happen in Hollywood. The Yankees and Dodgers meet in only their 2nd series in 29 years, and we have it for you next on Fox. Fair, 74 degrees. It's awesome, 74 degrees. For the Yankees and Dodgers here on a Saturday evening. This game is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of the thirst inning, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. How about the Taco Bell starting lineup? The New York Yankees think outside the bunt. Derek Jeter's getting ready to go. He will lead it off. Curtis Granderson bats second. Then Teixeira hits third. Alex Rodriguez, Robinson, Cano, Nick Swisher, the middle 3. Francisco Cervelli catching. Posada on the bench, Brett Gardner in left, and A.J. Burnett pitching and batting ninth. And here is Hiroki Kuroda. There are his numbers for the year. He's pitched very well his last 3 starts. Has only 1 win to show for it. And here is his sprint pitcher profile.
Hiroki is the 7th Japanese pitcher to pitch for the Dodgers. Run support has been a problem in his 5 losses. The Dodgers have scored only 8 runs. One thing to keep in mind, he rarely comes inside the left-handed batters. So left-handers can go up there and actually give away the inside part of the plate and look away.
Here's Derek Jeter, who's hitting just .227 during the month of June. Really one of the worst full months he has had as we get toward the end of June. There's a strike. It's the 26th, and it's rare for a guy like Derek Jeter, who was approaching 3,000 hits in his career, to have the kind of month that he has had. First pitch is a strike, and now the next from Kuroda. Strike 2 on a chopper foul. So it's Jeter, then Granderson, then Teixeira for the Yankees, who come in 46 and 27. And if you haven't looked at the standings lately, now got a 3-game lead over Tampa Bay, while the Dodgers are 4 out in the NL West behind San Diego.
The day of the month is the 26th, as you said, and Derek Jeter turning 36 today.
And here is the 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. So Kuroda coming off 7 strong innings on Sunday night at Boston. It's when the Dodgers were swept, and now LA has lost 7 of their last 8. Here's a 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yankees come in with the 4th best team average in the American League, and they've popped 81 home runs. Here comes a 2-2 from Kuroda. Ball 3, 3-2. Joe Torre, who for 12 years didn't miss the postseason, corner of the dugout for the Yankees. Now in his 3rd year here with Los Angeles. Watches a 3-2 pitch head home. And after an 0-2 start, it's a leadoff walk as Derek Jeter is on to start the night for the Yankees, and our 4 keys to the game.
Well, for the Yankees, will the real A.J. Burnett please stand up? You may remember that show, To Tell the Truth, and the Yankees hopeful of a good start by A.J. Burnett today, and the Dodgers have been waddling in mediocrity over the last couple of weeks.
Here's Granderson. Kitty Carlisle.
Kitty Carlisle.
Aren't you on that all the time?
With the Rio. Yeah. Orson Bean was another one.
Granderson takes a pitch high, so after 2 quick strikes on Jeter, that's now 5 in a row that have missed out of the right hand of Hiroki Kuroda, the 35-year-old right-hander. Dodgers need him to step up. Dodgers are looking for consistency out of their rotation. They hope to get Billingsley back on Monday off the DL and a start at the Giants. There's a strike. It's 1-1. So much hype surrounding this series and the return of the Yankees here to Dodger Stadium, and then having to face Joe Torre. Joe Girardi, who was Torre's bench coach in 2005. He basically called for, asked for, and got Joe Torre's blessing to take the job. World champion a year ago. Here's a pitch down and in the count 2-1. Before this season even started, this was a series that was highlighted on the calendar, especially for the Dodgers. Season ticket holders, people who wanted seats for this series in particular, billboards across this city. I don't think, certainly you and I have never gone into a series or a game where more attention has been paid to a manager than what has happened here with Joe Torre taking on the New York Yankees.
That is absolutely true.
2 balls and a strike. Granderson ready for another, and it's inside 3-1. So Kuroda gets a visit from Russell Martin as catcher, and he is all over the place. Let's take a look at the defense for the Dodgers while those 2 talk. And it's brought to you by Scott's. In the outfield, it's Manny Ramirez, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier left to right. Third baseman is Casey Blake. Rafael Furcal is back, and he's at short. Blake DeWitt at second. James Loney at first, and Russell Martin is now back behind the plate for Hiroki Kuroda, who's trying to find the strike zone. He is 3-1 on Granderson as Rick Honeycutt, who has his hands full here in 2010 with his Dodger pitching staff, watches.
Yeah, Kuroda really pumped up. He's been wild in the same spot.
There goes Jeter, swing and a miss. Throw down is too late. It sails into center field, and Derek Jeter will pop up and go to third with nobody out. It'll be a stolen base, number 8. It'll be an error on Russell Martin. And just like that, the Yankees have a runner at third, nobody out here in the first inning.
Martin short hopping Rafael Furcal, the ball bouncing over his glove. Furcal, I think, trying to make Jeter think that he was just late with the tag, but that ball floating into center field, and a throwing error on Martin.
So it was an 0-2 count on Derek Jeter. Now he's standing at third thanks to a walk, a steal, an error, and Granderson trying to bring him home. The infield is back. The exception of Casey Blake over at third, and there's ball 4 up and away. First and third, nobody out. This is a Dodger team that Joe Torre wants compile a team ERA of 4.11. That is 11th best in the National League. Taking on a Yankee team that is very patient, as they've shown already here in the first inning, and when you make a mistake, they'll burn you, and that's happened with Mark Teixeira, the guy at the plate. His average is down, his power's been better over the last week, and he's wearing a smile around the ballpark a little more lately than he was early in the season. Ball 1 high, and again Kuroda's pumped up as that fastball misses way out of the strike zone. And when you look at the first 73 games last season compared to this year, and that's after a poor start last year for Teixeira, you realize just how far down that average and the production is for the Yankee switch hitter.
It's always alarming when the starting catcher and the starting pitcher have 2 meetings before the first out is recorded. It's always a bad sign.
1 ball, no strikes. And a fly ball well hit into right center. Back at the wall. Teixeira goes deep. And it's 3-0 New York here in the first inning. Two walks and a blast from Mark Teixeira. Home run number 13. And it's 3-0 Yankees here at the plate.
And one of the worst things about walks early in the game, when you put runners on, that makes a pitcher throw the ball to the fat part of the plate. And that's what Kuroda did. He knew it was gone when he hit it. And the Yankees, after 2 walks, get the long ball from Teixeira.
They got a long ball last night from Alex Rodriguez, who digs his way in here. Strike 1. I mean, if you think about where the Yankees sit right now, as I mentioned, they're 3 games up on Tampa Bay, and they've had a slow start from Teixeira. He's starting to round into shape, and really a slow start power-wise from the guy at the plate, and the guy with 593 career home runs, Alex Rodriguez.
And a bad month from Derek Jeter.
That's inside, a ball and a strike.
And they missed Granderson for a while with a groin problem. They missed Jorge Posada with a broken foot for about 5 weeks. So they've had their share of problems, but again, they've overcome it with strong pitching.
Here's a fly ball into center right at Kemp, who has to make a basket catch for out number 1. So Tampa Bay, they were winners earlier today. They're now 44-30, so officially it's a 2.5 game lead for the Yankees over the Rays. The Rays last night were no hit for the 2nd time this season by Edwin Jackson of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then Boston, they're 3 games out. But the big news for the Red Sox is they had to put Dustin Pedroia on the disabled list with a fractured foot. And they'll miss him for a while, at least 15 games. And if you heard Kevin Millar in our pregame show, we couldn't agree more. I mean, he is the lifeblood of that team for so many different reasons, and he's now going on the shelf. First pitch, a strike, and a breaking ball to Cano. Sabathia, the starter and winner last night. Here's an 0-1. 0-2.
CC Sabathia winning his 9th game last night. Pettit has 9 wins. Hughes has 10 wins. That triumvirate, those 3 guys, are 28-6 on the season so far. Remarkable.
Here's an 0-2 pitch from Kuroda. And a grounder foul outside first. Here are the numbers. And no doubt, potential all-stars, something we talked about with Joe Girardi before today's game. He's the one who will be in the dugout making some of the decisions as far as the roster is concerned for the American League. The 13th of July in Anaheim. Phil Hughes 10-1. Andy Pettit and Sabathia 9-3. Terrific last night. And will be on Fox on the 13th. And after calling for it up, Russell Martin received the pitch up. And Cano, who's leading baseball in hitting 361, is strikeout victim number 1 for Kuroda.
First 3 batters, 2 walks and a home run, and then Kuroda makes it look so easy, retiring Rodriguez and Cano.
Now Nick Swisher's had a very good year. Had a dismal postseason, had a different training regimen during the offseason, and he came back a little leaner, and here he is hitting .294. 11 home runs, 45 RBIs. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but a good complementary player to what the Yankees have going in their lineup. Strike 1. This is continuing a trend that Kuroda has dealt with this season, with his ERA in the first inning being huge, and then he settles in. Backhanded try. Kuroda late getting over, but he is there to receive the throw, and the putout ends the inning. But it was a walk, a steal, an error, a walk, and that for Mark Teixeira. 3-0 Yankees for A.J. Burnett. Will take the mound in the bottom of the first. Starting lineup for the Dodgers. Think outside the bun. Rafael Furcal leads it off at short. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, Manny Ramirez cleans up. Then it's James Loney, Casey Blake, Russell Martin, Blake DeWitt bats in the number 8 spot. And Hiroki Kuroda, if he pitches like he did in the first inning, may not get to the plate, but he's batting 9th. And here's A.J. Burnett, who has had a terrible month of June.
And he's had a tough time in the first and second inning also. We saw Kuroda with the problems he's had in the first. So what does A.J. Burnett do? Well, he moves to the other side of the rubber. After that horrible June Joe was talking about, 0-4, and look at the earned run average. Early inning problems, movement of the rubber. The reason that's a question mark, we weren't sure. We asked Mike Harkey, who is serving as the pitching coach, Dave Allen, on a bereavement leave. And we asked Joe Girardi, is he going to pitch to the third base side of the pitching rubber? They said he might. Well, that might is he is.
That was the sprint pitcher profile for A.J. Burnett. who hits the outside corner for strike one to Rafael Furcal. You can tell a lot with the body language of A.J. Burnett. Usually when he gets it back, gets right on top, works it back home, he's feeling confident and he's locked in. There are times where he'll walk around the mound, show frustration as he gives up a leadoff hit to Rafael Furcal as the Dodgers hope to come right back. But Tim, A.J. Burnett's stuff is electric. He's got one of the best curveballs in the game with his right. He's got radar gun material that just lights it up. I mean, he's a mid-90s fastball. He's got everything he wants, but he is maddeningly inconsistent.
Yeah, and you're right about that walking around the mound. When he's pitching well, he gets the ball and throws it. When he's pitching poorly, he gets the ball, walks around the mound, and throws it.
Here's Matt Kemp. Keep talking about guys who are having poor Junes. Here's another guy, 191 during this month, just 2 home runs. There goes Furcal, and the hit and run was on as Kemp fouls it back to the right. Great jump by Furcal. Cervelli would have had no chance, but Kemp was swinging strike one.
That's what managers do. They give the hitter the option of swinging, particularly the right-handed hitter. But it's very difficult to determine what kind of jump the runner had at first base and pay attention to a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the same time. It's a lot to think about.
Teixeira holds against Furcal, who has stolen 10, been caught twice. And now Burnett almost throws it wildly over to first. So A.J. Burnett is trying to reverse the trend. As Tim mentioned, the trend that started when Dave Eiland, the pitching coach, left the team for personal reasons. Mike Harkey has taken over, but A.J. Burnett's been around long enough where you can't pin this on the departure of Dave Eiland. Here's a pitch up and away.
And to A.J.'s credit, he has said that. He said, look, I'm a big boy. I can work without a pitching coach. Dave Eiland helped us a great deal. He helped me a great deal. But I've got to be able to make the adjustments on my own.
That came up in 1999.
Yeah, I mean, so far he has not made those adjustments.
1 ball, 1 strike, another check on Furcal.
So much of pitching from a psychological standpoint, too, Joe, is realizing where you are. You've got to pitch like you have a 3-run lead and not pitch like you're tied. Right now, he's pitching like he's tied.
Here's a 1-1. Kemp comes up empty. Kemp looks lost at the plate. That's strike 2. He missed that by plenty, and now he's in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
In fairness to Matt, anybody would look lost swinging at that pitch. That ball going down out of the strike zone.
There's Don Mattingly, obviously beloved Yankees first baseman, and he was brought out here by Joe Torre. Larry Boa as well, part of the staff these last 2 years in New York. Here's a 1-2 pitch and foul off the hands. Here's the quote by A.J. Burnett. I'm out there throwing pitches whether Dave's in the dugout or not. This is referencing Dave Eiland, his pitching coach. He's corrected me enough where I should have a memory of what Dave says. I'm a man, I'm a professional athlete who's got a big contract, which I think is an interesting part of that quote.
It
jumped out to me.
It is, me too.
He's here for a reason. He pitched okay last year after a career year 2 seasons ago with Toronto. Here's a 1-2 pitch and a strikeout of Matt Kemp.
That's that breaking ball. That's what hitters in the American League try not to do, is to allow Burnett to get ahead of them, because then he throws that breaking ball that at times is unhittable. More unhittable than any curveball in the big leagues.
Wouldn't you say it would be Burnett and then Beckett is probably the 2 best curveballs from, or at least a right-hander?
Yeah, Beckett's is more over the top, and he doesn't throw it as hard as Burnett. That's Beckett at his best. He's on the DL right now.
1 on, 1 out. Kemp now has struck out 7 times in his last 10 at bats. And he's in the number 2 spot in this lineup for the Dodgers. Ethier, meanwhile, has struggled. He went on the disabled list with a broken pinky. When he went down, he was hitting .392 over 33 games, was leading the National League in the Triple Crown categories, and since he's come back, nothing. Hitting .215, 1 homer, 7 RBIs in 23 games since coming off the DL. And almost picked off was Rafael Furcal. Chris Guccione, the first base umpire, hesitated. So did Furcal, and he was called safe.
That's all the Dodgers needed, was another guy picked off after that game Wednesday against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. One of the worst ways to lose a game that I have experienced or heard about in recent memory.
There's a strike on a fastball pumped right down the middle, strike 2.
In that game on Wednesday, a game lost by the Dodgers to the Angels, the 26th and 27th outs, that's the last 2 outs of the game, were made on tag plays at second base. A pickoff of Matt Kemp and a throw behind.
Here's a base hit on a broken bat down the left field line. Furcal will turn and go to third. Throw is into second base by Gardner, and it's first and third, 1 out on a base hit by Andre Ethier. So the Dodgers have something going here in the first, and it's a DirecTV game break. Here's Chris and Kevin. What a year it's been. Thanks, guys. What a year it's been for Darnell McDonald, who's come out of nowhere. And big reason why the Red Sox, despite all those injuries, have been able to hang in the race in the AL East. Well, here's Manny Ramirez, former Boston Red Sox outfielder, and certainly no stranger to facing Yankee pitching. First and third, 1 out, strike 1.
I was just going to say before that first curveball from A.J. Burnett, the thinking here is don't give Manny Ramirez a fastball to hit. You can throw him fastballs, but throw him just off the plate. Try to get him out on a curveball.
So those 55 home runs he's hit against Yankee pitching, that is the most among active players and third most all time. Whether it was with Cleveland or in his years with the Red Sox. Here's an 0-1. Lays off. Breaking ball number 2. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Last night, Manny Ramirez drove home the only run for the Dodgers against Sabathia. It came in the first inning. Yankees tied in the third, won it by a final of 2-1. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And a fly ball slicing away from the right fielder. Swisher takes a hop, gets into the crowd. It's a ground rule double and a 3-1 game. Bad break for the Dodgers as that takes a run off the board as it hops out of play. But Manny Ramirez puts LA on the board.
Joe Girardi's going out there and talking to him now because he's mad. He's mad that Manny Ramirez got a fastball. After 2 breaking balls, we talked about the need to throw the breaking balls to Ramirez. You're in a situation where it's almost like the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. Even though it's the first, there's no way with guys in scoring position you can give Manny a fastball to hit. He did and paid for it.
Well, whatever Joe Girardi said, he got right up to A.J. Burnett, gave him a pat on the backside, but it was a strong message, and he headed back to the dugout.
It was.
So now the tying runs are in scoring position for the Dodgers. 1 out, and James Loney is at the plate. Ball 1 down and in.
Here's the sequence to Manny Ramirez. 3 pitches. The first pitch, breaking ball. Second pitch, he doesn't bite. He more than bites on the fastball.
Ramirez has been hot in June, hitting .338, adds to it. Loney now lines one into left field. Gardner is back, turned the wrong way, but makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Ethier, and it's a one-run game. Sac fly to left by James Loney makes it 3-2 here in the first.
You can see turning the wrong way, then he recovers very well. Keep in mind that Brett Gardner is normally a center fielder and has played left and center very well defensively this year. That was a tough play. A ball hit right at him, turned wrong, and righted himself.
And one of the better hit balls in this inning. Off the bat of Loney, it's RBI number 48. Now it's Casey Blake, tying run at second. That's Ramirez, 2 out. And Burnett way outside with fastball, ball 1. Opponents are hitting now .373 against A.J. Burnett in the first inning this season. Here's a 1-0. Doesn't get the call. It's 2-0. Blake is driven in 29, hitting .268. Pop 7 home runs. Tying run at second, 2 out, and a 2-0 pitch. Throw down to second, and Manny Ramirez is just back in time. I mean, it is an adventure for the Dodgers on the bases.
There was almost a pickoff of Rafael Furcal, which would have been bad. I'll tell you, that was very, very close. The tag made on the rear end, close. From his knees, Cervelli.
He's out.
No argument from me if he called him out.
Got him on the backside before his hand touched the bag. Here's a 3-0 pitch, and it's on the inside corner, 3-1. The throw from Cervelli had to bring a smile to the face of Tony Pena, coach for Joe Girardi.
Brought pain to my right shoulder, I'll tell you.
He allowed 3 home runs in the first inning at Arizona in his last start. Here's a 3-1 pitch. It's a full count now, as that fastball's in at the knees. There's Tony Pena,
who used to throw from his knees an awful lot. He had a cannon.
Pena's been going over a lot of film, seeing if Burnett has been tipping his pitches his last 4 starts. He has studied it. Girardi has studied it. A.J. Burnett has. Jorge Posada. They think they found something, maybe. 3-2 pitch and a strikeout on a fastball in on the hands. The inning is over. A long first at Dodger Stadium. 3-2 Yankees after 1.
Two strikes, ball one. Here comes the pitch. Strike three. A no-hitter, a perfect game for Don Larson, and he's swarmed by his teammates. Listen to this crowd roar.
Some of the history between these two, and when you look at the tail of the tape and you start putting the numbers what these two franchises have done, it's staggering, and it indicates why this series is so important to anybody who enjoys this game. The Hall of Fame players, the MVP awards, the Cy Young awards, more with the Dodgers, always known for their pitching. World Series titles, 27 for the Yankees, 6 for the Dodgers. Pennants, 40 for the Yankees. Here's Cervelli, who almost picked off Manny Ramirez for the final out in the bottom of the first. And that foul makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
The reason I telestrated that 41, I did not realize that the Dodgers have more Hall of Famers than the New York Yankees. That really surprised me. I think most people would say that the Yankees dominate the Hall of Fame like they have dominated World Series play throughout their history.
Good breaking ball from Kuroda to count 1-2. And when you talk about the history between these two, they've met 11 times during the World Series. Yankees have won 8 of those 11 meetings. Here's a 1-2 pitch and a foul off to the right. That Don Larson perfect game was in Game 5. 1956, a 7-game series, after the Brooklyn Dodgers finally beat the Yankees the year before in 1955. And the terrific pitching of Johnny Padres. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Kuroda, and a ground ball to short for Cowell. Gathers it in, throws him out. 1 away. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By the all-new 2011 Super Duty, built for tough. And by Sprint, the Now Network. 1 out, nobody on, and it brings in Brett Gardner, who is hitting .316. Hit .270 during the course of last season, and he takes ball 1 from Kuroda. Starting in 1941, the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Brooklyn Dodgers met 7 times in the World Series. Last one coming in 1956. Dodgers out here in 58. They met again in 63, 77, and 78. The Yankees won both those World Series, and again in 1981 the Dodgers won in 6 games, 4 games to 2. Here's a 2-0. That's hard hit and foul. 2-1.
I love Joe Girardi's characterizing Brett Gardner. As you look at the Dodgers and Yankees, they've met in the World Series 11 times. Only the Celtics and the Lakers have met for the final 7 games more. But Brett Gardner, says Girardi, plays with a chip on his shoulder. And it's one of the few times that when someone says someone has a chip on his shoulder, it can be favorable.
Here's a pop-up left side for Cowell out. Ramirez in, and it's Manny Ramirez to the center out. And then Manny Ramirez claps toward his teammates in the dugout.
Pitcher number 34, A.J. Burnett.
I mean, you've been critical of Manny Ramirez. I've been critical of Manny Ramirez, but there are some things that he does that just remind you that it is a game, and he plays it like a kid, sometimes maddeningly so. But there's also a fun to him and a smile that when he turns on that charm, he's really hard to not like. Mm-hmm. First pitch, a strike to A.J. Burnett. Here's the 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Of course, we talked plenty last week when he was at Fenway Park about the way that his time with the Red Sox ended, where his behavior was so poor. He basically acted his way off that team, forced them to deal him, and it worked. And he ended up here in L.A., was great for the Dodgers 2 seasons ago, helped get them to the NLCS. They were there again last year. His behavior certainly has been better here with the Dodgers than it definitely was at the end of his time in Boston. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Two balls, two strikes on Burnett.
Well, when he came to Los Angeles, it was almost like he was on probation. In those last 2 months, a couple of years ago, did he ever deliver? Two of the best months that any hitter has had in the history of the game.
53 games, hit .396, 17 home runs, and 53 RBIs. So an RBI per game, as they came up just short of getting to the World Series. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Right down the middle. If you're not here at Dodger Stadium in LA on this beautiful 74-degree day, enjoying the sunshine, some of your new friends at Dodger Stadium, maybe you're at the beach. 3-2 Yankees after an inning and a half. Chevrolet is sponsored by Budweiser. With full flavor and a crisp, clean finish, it's what we do. Take a look at the Scots defense for the Yankees. No surprises. Gardner in left, Granderson in center, next Swisher in right. Around the infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Robinson, Cano, Teixeira. The catcher is Cervelli. Playing with Posada, still coming back from that broken bone in his right foot. Catch 2 of the 3 games here in LA, so he'll catch tomorrow night. Cervelli does the catching for A.J. Burnett. And there's Don Newcomb. We're going to have a chance during the course of this game to spend a half inning with Tommy Lasorda and to spend a half inning with Reggie Jackson. And there's Tommy. Here is Russell Martin. And there is a strike. Now I'm told that we're going to talk to those two guys together. Where are you going to be during that? You better stay with me.
I will. I'll hang. We'll bookend them. Put them in the middle.
Okay. Here's a pitch up and away. It's going to happen in the 5th. Russell Martin, then Blake DeWitt, then Hiroki Kuroda. Bottom 3 in the lineup here in the bottom of the 2nd. 1-run game. Yankees lead. Burnett still trying to find it. And a late swing and a miss by Martin. Strike 2.
Remember Del Crandall, the great catcher for the Milwaukee Braves and now Brewers. used to say when a catcher has a swing like that, it's the second game of a doubleheader swing. And there are reasons why Russell Martin swings late at pitches. He has caught more innings than any other catcher in baseball over the last 5 years. I tell you, that position wears and tears not only on your legs, but on your left hand, that bone right below the index finger of your left hand. The better the pitching staff, the sorer that bone is. And it's very, very difficult. For a left-handed hitter, you end up with those lazy fly balls to left field, your third and fourth at bats.
That's why it's remarkable what Joe Mauer does.
Oh, unbelievable.
The Minnesota Twins.
Unbelievable.
Full count now as Burnett snapped at the ball when he got it back. And a fastball's fouled, backing out of play. The numbers back it up. From 06 to 08, Russell Martin was a .285 hitter. Since, he's hitting .248.
Yep.
So as those innings have piled up, he's done his best behind the plate, but at the plate he has struggled. And it's hit him hard over the last couple of weeks. Here's a 3-2 pitch right down the middle. Struck him out with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, one away. DirecTV game break. Here's Chris and Kevin.
For the Dodgers, second baseman, number 33, Blake DeWitt.
Thank you. And thanks for reminding me that Ken Rosenthal is here with us. He's down basking in the sunshine in the corner, off the corner of the dugout, the Yankees dugout. Hopefully wearing sunblock, wearing a nice red tie, black suit. Good pick, Ken. Here he is. Always with security. The 1-0 pitch is up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Blake DeWitt at the plate, hitting .267, batting the number 8 spot. Pitcher Kuroda is next. 2-0 is inside, 3-0. So DeWitt has not had to take the bat off his shoulder. A.J. Burnett hasn't walked anybody, but he is on his way to that, which would give the pitcher a chance to bunt. And that's not even close. A 4-pitch walk. And the Yankees have to be thinking, here we go again with A.J. Burnett.
Yep. Joe Girardi with some very positive comments about A.J. after his last start. Of course, you can have very positive comments when you have the rest of your starters doing as well as Sabathia and Hughes and Pettit. They had the problem with Chien-Ming Wong last year. And this year it's A.J. Burnett having a ton of problems.
Here is a bunt. Kind of in self-defense by Kuroda. And the sacrifice is good. Scored 3-4 with Teixeira flipping to Cano, covering the bag. Down to second is DeWitt. Furcal is coming up. He was on the bereavement list. Kenny Rosenthal had to go back to the Dominican Republic, and he lost his father last weekend.
Yes, he was very close with his father, Silvino, Joe. And the thing that hurts for Kyle the most is that his father planned to visit him for the first time this season in Los Angeles. Silvino had not come to L.A. during Kyle's first 5 seasons. He said it was too far from the Dominican. But this time, all the plane tickets had been bought. Kyle's wife was supposed to fly back to Dominican, bring back Silvino, only it never happened.
It never happened because he suffered serious injuries about a month before passing away on Sunday. Complications from being kicked in the chest by a horse. And so Furcal went home, spent some time with him. He passed away on Sunday, came back, and is trying to work his way back into, I think, a focus that he had certainly before he had to leave. He was rolling his average over 300. He missed about a month with a bad hamstring. But this is a much different lineup and team when Furcal is available to Joe Torre as he takes a strike in the count 1-1.
Rafael's father, Silvino, can rest in peace knowing that he taught his son how to play the game of baseball. Bobby Cox and Joe Torre, the managers for whom he has played, both with high praise for their shortstop.
Tying run at second, 2 out. And that's on the inside corner, strike 2. Joe Torre told us he had no idea, having managed against Rafael Furcal, what Furcal brought to a ball club until he got here to LA 2 seasons ago. He became an instant fan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Furcal could tie it with a hit. And he strikes out on a nasty pitch down and in. A walk, a man left. 2 left by the Dodgers in the game. We've played 2, 3-2 New York. Back after this. Game 6, Reggie Jackson with home runs and 3 consecutive swings of the bat in the clinching game. And then we go to 1978, Game 4, a non-call of interference when Reggie Jackson broke up a double play with his hip, helped the Yankees win the game and another World Series. Is presented by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball. Young Yankee fan. There are many Yankee fans out here and in Dodger Stadium tonight, as there were last night, as there will be tomorrow night. This crowd has some life, enjoying this series, and Kuroda brings home ball 1, a rather tight strike zone. Jerry Crawford, the crew chief and home plate umpire, here this evening. It's Jeter, Granderson, and Teixeira, who hit a 3-run home run in the first inning. Then A.J. Burnett gave a couple back. Breaking ball, a tight one for a strike. It's 1-1. Jeter walked, stole a base, and scored on the homer by Teixeira in the first, and now he's in the hole 1-2.
Derek Jeter with 2,834 hits, and he is the most predictable hitter in baseball. Everybody knows where he tries to hit the ball with 2 strikes. And think about it, he's 36 years old today, and when Pete Rose turned 36, he didn't have as many hits as Derek Jeter.
All-time hit king. That's in the dirt. Outside as well on the count, 2-2. It's hard to believe that Derek Jeter today turns 36.
It is. I agree with it.
Here's a 2-2 pitch, and there he goes into right. He's predictable, and he's good. 318 hits now during interleague play, the most all time. And we say happy birthday to Derek Jeter. And we roll the clock back to 96. First full year in the big leagues. He was the Rookie of the Year. And I don't know if he's a vampire or what, but he looks the same now than he did back in 1996. He doesn't look any different. You and I look awful compared to how we looked in 96. In his career, he's hitting .342 on his birthday. But, I mean, he just doesn't age. One on, nobody out. And that fastball misses, ball one.
I have thought about this before. Derek Jeter is so predictable in going to right field with 2 strikes that if I were his opposing manager, I might put a shift on like they have against David Ortiz to the right side.
Force him to try and pull it.
I think so. I'd be unconventional to a guy that's so conventional going to right field with 2 strikes on him.
Now the count's 2-0 on Granderson. You would be Zimmer-esque as a manager?
I think so. Yeah.
Kind of fly by the seat of your pants and go with your gut.
I think so. Yeah.
How come you never wanted to manage? Or did you want to manage?
Well, I did. I wasn't offered a job.
Oh.
That comes first.
Here's a 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1.
I guess that, whether you want to manage or not has nothing to do with it if you're not offered a job.
Well, would you do it now? I mean, are you willing to?
No, I'm not. No, I would not do it now. I'm having too much fun up here. Are you kidding?
He is.
Wasn't that the perfect answer?
Yeah. That's great. 2 balls and a strike on Granderson and a check on Jeter, who has a small lead. Well, I'm sure there are managers across the country who are crying out at their televisions right now going, he always manages from the booth every time I manage a game. That jerk tried to get down here in the dugout and figure it out if it's so easy.
Yeah, I'm sure there are more than a few.
Here's a floater into center off the end of the bat, and it's 2 on with nobody out. Back-to-back hits.
First baseman, number 25, Mark Boucher.
Both our managers today, Joe Torre and Joe Girardi, spent some time in the television business. Girardi for a short while after he was manager of the year in the National League for the Marlins in '06, and Joe Torre for a long time, and he was a terrific broadcaster with the Angels.
Many football coaches have spent a tenure in the broadcast booth on their way to yet another job.
Sure. Those guys tend to get recycled. Teixeira had 2 on in the first inning. And a strike to the outside corner, and back in the first he did this. His 13th of the season. And I was kidding about the whole jerk thing. I just, managers tend to get a little testy when we question what they do.
Yes.
2 on, nobody out. 0-1 pitch is grounded to the right side. Going to be tough to turn 2. Out at second, and no chance to get them both. And it's first and third with 1 out. Our Mercedes-Benz trivia question. The Yankees and Dodger franchises have met in the World Series 11 times. The most in baseball history. Which franchises have met the second most times? For a team like the Yankees, won 40 pennants, they might be in the second spot as well. First and third, 1 out for Rodriguez. Alex hit a double to right last night, Tim, and then hit a home run into left center field, and that put a smile on Joe Girardi's face, believing that that's a sure sign that he is getting locked in when he shows a little pop the other way, and then he takes a ball into the seats in left center.
That's what baseball people talk about. When you're hitting the ball properly the other way, that means your shoulder is in and you're not pulling out. When you're pulling out, you can't hit. That's one of the most common bad things for a hitter to do.
Good pitch by Kuroda, in on his hands, 1-1.
And that means that if the shoulder is in there, You can't handle that pitch inside. Well, all good hitters get jammed. That last pitch was a good fastball from Kuroda. And there are some hitters that are so afraid of getting jammed, but not Alex Rodriguez. He was jammed on that pitch, so what? Get him the next time.
On deck is Cano, who leads baseball in batting average. Good 4-5 combination for the Yankees. Heck, 3-4-5 when Teixeira's high. That's as good as it gets. That's inside, 2 balls and a strike. 81st annual All-Star Game will be held just down the freeway in Anaheim. July 13th at 8, live right here on Fox. And I have a question to ask you after this 2-1 pitch.
Okay.
From Hiroki Kuroda. He's in another jam as he trails by 1. Back to Kuroda. He'll try to turn 2. DeWitt in the middle of it. Wide throw and a run scores. Kuroda had to wait. DeWitt struggled in the middle, and it's now 4-2 Yankees here in the third.
I think it was the hesitation by Kuroda. Now, this is an arguable point, but I think the hesitation by Kuroda caused no rhythm at second base, and also Mark Teixeira. But when you hesitate as a pitcher, that gives the base runner at first base a chance to get on top of you. Now, watch the hesitation right there. You throw it to the bag knowing who's going to be there. Because if you hesitate, that gives that runner a chance to bear down on the guy throwing the ball. And Teixeira had something to do with that. Actually, no error on the play because you can't assume a double play.
Pitch blocked by Russell Martin.
Here, see that hesitation by Kuroda gives Teixeira another step or two. He's not a fast runner, but you could say, I heard a broadcaster say recently that you can't assume a double play. Bonkers. I agree with that. I mean, on that play right there, you should assume a double play. That should be an error.
I agree. As it is, it's a force out. Scored 1-4. It's an RBI for Rodriguez. And you look at where the Dodgers are in their rotation. They're short. They're injured with Billingsley. You look at their lineup, and they have some hitters really struggling around Manny Ramirez. Some very good hitters struggling. But we came on the air, Tim, talking about base running, sloppy play. We've seen a little more of that here in the first few innings, and that's a ball that should have ended the inning with one of the game's best hitters at the plate.
It has just been a wretched week for the Dodgers as far as sound fundamental baseball. When I go back to that game on Wednesday night, I mean, that was a wretched loss. It was so bad, Joe Torre held a post-game meeting and just aired out anybody within range of his voice, and that means his team and his coaches. And he should have.
Counts 2-1 on Robinson Cano, who struck out his first time. It's 4-2 Yankees here in the third inning as they just got a gift run on a mishandled ball. That's back and out of play. We keep talking about it, and here it is on Wednesday night.
Runners on at first and second, and 1 out, and it was Brian Fuentes who picked off Matt Kemp at second base. Then with 2 out, runners on at first and second, Jamie Carroll, a little looper in front of Juan Rivera, who throws it behind Russell Martin, and Martin is tagged out before the runner could score. We've seen that play many, many times, but never to end a ball game in my experience. That was a wretched loss.
And it's the part that gets lost in there is it literally took a run off the board because Martin was tagged out before the run scored.
That's right. And then he was kicked out of a game that didn't exist.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Runner goes and a ground ball to the right side. DeWitt makes this play. It's 4-2. My question was, should Steven Strasburg be a National League All-Star?
Let me think about it.
Okay. Well, you have time. Like 4 minutes or whatever we do between innings. 4-2 Yankees. And Dodgers franchise have met in the World Series 11 times, the most in baseball. Which franchises have met the second most? The Giants and the Yankees 7 times.
I didn't know that. Good question, good answer.
And a pitch inside for ball one. It's now 4-2. The Yankees lead. Bottom of the third inning. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and then Manny Ramirez against A.J. Burnett. Burnett gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first, walked a batter in the second. He struck out 4. That's a ball and a strike. We're talking about Steven Strasburg, who will end up, barring any setbacks or rainouts or what have you, making 7 starts before the All-Star game on the 13th. And I asked you whether you thought that was enough. It would be the fewest by a pitcher going to the All-Star game in Major League Baseball history. Where do you come down in that argument?
If he wins his next 3 starts, he has 3 starts left. If he wins his next 3, yes. If he doesn't win his next 3 and his ERA still hovers around 2, probably. Aside from that, if he loses his next 3 starts, no. So I think it depends, in my view, on what happens over his next 3 starts. I mean, after all, everybody knows and everybody's in agreement. He's got to earn it. But this guy is so phenomenal and has hit the baseball scene with such an impact that it would be, in my view, and this is probably overstating it, but an injustice to America, to baseball in America, not to show Steven Strasburg on its biggest interleague play stage.
I agree. That's my point. If this game can't celebrate somebody who has become instant appointment television in its Midsummer Classic, then what are we doing? I mean, he's that good. And
That's right.
People want to see him because he's that good. Here's a breaking ball in for a strike to A.J. Burnett. Baseball is now on the brink of having a core of really good young players. Jason Hayward is going to start in the outfield for the National League. The fans have done a great job voting there, certainly at the top of that list. But somebody like Strasburg, the people want to find on television to watch pitch. And if he is that effective, I mean, yeah, the wins are one thing, but he lost 1-0 his last start.
That's right.
To the Kansas City Royals.
Walking none and striking out 9.
Major League Baseball needs people to see him on the national stage. Right
on
now.
a big stage.
1 on, nobody out. And that's low. A leadoff walk. Kenny Rosenthal is with us. Kenny, what do you think?
I agree with both of you, and I've got 2 quick points to add. 1, Dontrelle Willis in 2003 had made only 12 starts, and he was quite a phenomenon himself, somewhat like Strasburg. And 2, I'd like to ask Charlie Manuel if he'd like to have Strasburg in a game that determines home field advantage for the World Series, and I will guarantee you the answer would be yes.
Yeah, and that's a part of it, and something we talked to Joe Girardi about prior to tonight's game, and something we'll talk to Girardi about when we visit with him from the dugout. But this guy's one of the best pitchers in the game. He came up when he came up, but he's dominant. Here's a pitch inside. He has already set the record for the most strikeouts over his first 4 Major League starts, 41 strikeouts. So he's averaging over 10 strikeouts a game. Fresh into the big leagues, and like LeBron James to me, I'll tune in an NBA game to watch LeBron James play.
That's a great comparison.
If he's injured, I'm probably not going to tune in the Cavaliers.
That's right.
Here's a line drive, base hit in the center, and the Dodgers have something going here in the 3rd inning with a walk and a hit. Evidently, we can ask Kevin Millar his opinion in the studio on a DirecTV Game Break, what he thinks about Strasburg pitching in the All-Star game. Well, I know that has yet to be determined. It's 2 on with nobody out for Manny Ramirez. A walk, a hit, tying runs are on, and here's Burnett back in trouble and missing with ball 1. It's going to be interesting, Tim, to see the sequence of pitches in this at bat. with A.J. Burnett facing Manny Ramirez, as Burnett got a visit from his manager after a fastball right down the middle for an RBI double in the first.
It's not that you can't throw the fastball, but you've got to hit the spot with the fastball.
Here's a 1-0. There's a breaking ball.
2 in a row.
And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ramirez has driven in 38 now. He's had a very good month of June swinging the bat. 1-1 pitch. Gets away off the catcher's glove, and the runners advance to second and third. And it's a wild pitch on a ball that went off a lot of leather from Cervelli.
Yeah, and on the fastball, and when you're talking about hitting a spot, you're not talking about hitting the spot that's about a foot off the plate inside. But with 3-1, I wouldn't walk him here. I'd throw him 2 breaking balls. Count 2 balls and a strike. 2 breaking balls and try to get him with the breaking ball. Again, Manny Ramirez does not see a fastball to hit from Burnett.
Burnett behind on the count, and that's down and away. There's ball 3. James Loney, who hit the ball well his first time for a sac flying to left, will be next.
And if you're Manny Ramirez, you got to tell yourself there is no way Burnett's going to throw me a fastball here.
Here's a 3-1. Breaking ball is low, and the bases are loaded. And now Mike Harkey, who is the acting pitching coach, in place of Dave Island, will come out and talk. As Burnett turns his back to the plate, they will meet, and we look ahead to the All-Star game on July 13th. At 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox. So now it's James Loney, and a big opportunity for the Dodgers in a game. So they fell behind 3-0 in the first inning, in a game as they have struggled, losing 9 of 11. But they would love to get up off the deck and take from the Yankees. Bases loaded, nobody out here in the third. Ball 1 low. Talked about body language in the first inning. Body language does not appear to make Burnett look confident as he delivers a pitch, and Loney delivers a base hit to right. Here's the throw into second base. Manny Ramirez is back in safely, and it's a tie game. A 2-run single by James Loney, and it's 4-4 in the third.
A.J. Burnett had a 3-run lead in the first inning. The Dodgers scored twice. He has a 2-run lead here in the third. The Dodgers scored twice.
Larry Boa kept that arm waving even with nobody out. He sent Andre Ethier to the plate. That worked out. The throw was in behind Ramirez. He got back to the bag, and it's 2 on. Still nobody out for Casey Blake. And action starts for the Yankees in their bullpen. Ball 1.
That's a tough play for a third base coach because you have 2 runners that you're trying to direct. The runner that's rounding third and the runner that's rounding second. So you're bringing the runner rounding third along as Boone Logan is up throwing, and you're holding the runner at second base. It's a very difficult play for a third base coach.
Here comes a 1-0 pitch to Casey Blake. Grounder foul outside third.
It's like arriving at an intersection and having a green light and a red light there. Which one do you pay attention to?
Manny Ramirez paid attention to the red light early enough to get back to the bag. Russell Martin waits on deck. 2 on. Nobody out. And Burnett steps off.
Boy, he is really confused. You talked about body language. You talked about it a couple of times, and that is a great read, Joe.
And he's on the other end of the pitching rubber.
So tentative. That's right. He's moved back to the first base side of the pitching rubber.
He's at least more toward the middle. He was on the far side.
Right.
The first inning, that pitch is up. He's just struggling to try and find the right slot, to try and find the right spot. And it's not coming together. 2-1 on Blake. A.J. Burnett had an up and down year last year. Ended up 13-9, an ERA just over 4 in his first year of a 5-year deal, which takes him through 2013. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Blake takes ball 3.
You hear that expression that a hitter is caught in between. You hear that a lot. Rarely do you hear the expression that a pitcher is caught in between. But if there is anybody who is caught in between right now, it's A.J. Burnett.
Now he's got to lay one into Casey Blake. Struck out Casey Blake his first time up, and he walks him. 3 walks in the inning. And whereas the Yankees early in the season had to answer questions about Javier Vasquez, not good his last time out against Arizona, but he's gotten his stuff back together. Now it's going to be another round of questioning about A.J. Burnett. And what's wrong with their high-priced right-hander is Russell Martin, who's 1 for his last 20. Struck out his first time, digs in with the bases loaded, nobody out. Really not close with a lot of these pitches here in the 3rd inning. That's ball 1.
Well, if he gets ahead of the hitters and then isn't close for the curveball, he can entice them to swing. But when he falls behind with balls out of the strike zone, then he's got to come in with the fastball, and that's when he gets hammered.
Cervelli out there to talk. This will be the 23rd pitch of the inning coming, and he still hasn't retired anybody. A walk, a single, a walk, a single, a walk. Here's a 1-0. Low, 2-0.
Big league hitters salivate in these situations.
That's fouled back. I was thinking about it on the way out to the stadium today. When you've got Burnett, who's got the pressure of a big contract, and they're talking about moving him on the other side of the rubber. He's worried about tipping his pitches. He's trying to stay closed longer because he thinks that he's giving a read to hitters what's coming. There's so much going on in his mind that he's just locked up.
Yeah, it's not a checkup of the body. It's a checkup from the neck up.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Ground ball, double play ball. Jeter steps, throws. Dodgers lead with 2 out in the inning. No RBI for Russell Martin. Now 1 for his last 21. Over to third is the runner Loney, in to score Ramirez, and it's 5-4 Dodgers here in the 3rd inning. So with 1 pitch, A.J. Burnett gets the double play ball, and I think stays in this game. With the left-handed hitting DeWitt up now, they can walk him, pitch to Kuroda, and leave the lefty Boone Logan out in the bullpen.
Yep.
be the second time Blake DeWitt has drawn a walk. And it'll be first and third with 2 out for Kuroda, who is hitless on the year. And the Dodgers have their first lead of this game as that one almost sailed away from Cervelli.
I was thinking the same thing. There is nothing more embarrassing than when you're trying to walk somebody intentionally and you have a runner on at third base than to throw one wild.
I don't think you have to worry about tipping your pitches on an intentional walk.
No, you don't.
It's first and third, 2 out, and the 8th man to bat here in the 3rd inning is Kuroda.
Well, I mean, if you're Cervelli right here, you don't call for the curveball. You call all fastballs because Burnett has 5 wild pitches and is prone to throw it by a catcher in this situation.
Now the focus goes on Burnett trying to throw strikes.
I mean, if you're Joe Torre, give Kuroda the take sign. Make him throw a strike.
He's walked 4 in this inning, one of them an intentional walk. And it's 2-0. Kuroda should take at least 1 strike.
I think he ought to take 3 strikes. If it's 3 strikes to the hitter, to Kuroda, even though he's 0 for 23 on the year, it doesn't matter. That's how wild Burnett is right now.
Shows bunt, pulls back from strike 1.
That was a gimme.
It's a season high in walks, 5 for Burnett. He's not through the 3rd. He's had over 30 pitches in this inning alone. And a foul out of play off to the right. 2-2. I mean, this is not like it's Danny Herron at the plate, a good hitting pitcher. This is Kuroda, who's 0 for 23.
Right.
But he swung on 2-1, and now it's a 2-2 count. First and third, 2 out. And it's still 2-2. This includes today his last 5 starts, an ERA of over 11. Allowed 9 home runs. Nobody's gotten him for a home run in this game. The opponents are hitting over 350. Here's a 2-2 pitch again, and it's strike 3. Strikeout number 5. 5 walks in the inning. 3 runs for the Dodgers, their first lead of the game. 5-4 LA after 3. Roki Kuroda now has a lead. It's 5-4 Dodgers as we move into the fourth. Just had a chance to visit with Joe Torre, Dodger manager in his third year here in LA and for 12 seasons with the New York Yankees. We'll play that interview for you. There's obviously a lot that you have to leave on the table. But I will say this, that when you think about the Yankees and where they are right now, and the Yes Network and that empire that's been built, Joe Torre came there and is as big a part of that success and as big a part of what's gone on with the success of the Yes Network as anybody who played games for the New York Yankees.
There's no question
he was a television star for the New York Yankees, and he was as valuable to New York for what he did away from the dugout as what he did inside that dugout or inside that clubhouse in creating the atmosphere for this team to thrive. Hadn't won a World Series in 18 years. He shows up in 96, wins in 96, and then 3 straight years, 98, 99, 2000.
And those that paid Joe Torre's salary thought it was a failure if he didn't win the World Series. I mean, if every organization took that approach.
Here's a swinging strike 3, and Swisher's going to end up at first base.
Then you would only have 30 winners.
And that's really what drove him out of New York. It was, in his mind, he took less money, or he took a deal out here to come to the Dodgers because, as he said, he didn't think he needed any quote-unquote incentive to win. It was always there with the Yankees. He's not going to try harder because there are incentives built into winning the World Series in his contract with the Yankees.
Yeah, he said, was he disappointed they didn't make against Detroit? Actually, he lost those 3 straight against Detroit his last year as manager of the Yankees. Was he disappointed? Of course. Did he fail? No.
First pitch is strike to Cervelli. It's a strikeout and a wild pitch to allow Swisher to get down to first base to start this 4th inning. So Kuroda, he and DeWitt couldn't turn a double play to keep a run off the board in the 3rd, and now here in the 4th inning as the Dodgers are on top for the first time. A strikeout starts the inning, and that man reaches base. The 0-1. Over but low, a ball and a strike.
In our opener, we talked about the sloppy play, particularly the base running of the Dodgers over the last couple of weeks. Well, this game this afternoon is sloppy on both sides. And it all starts with pitching, or lack thereof.
1 ball, 1 strike. One on, nobody out, and Kuroda steps off. You think about what's been built with the Yankees, and it's why they can afford a luxury tax. It's why they don't have to worry about revenue sharing. Not to say that it's not on their plate and it's not something that, but it doesn't slow them down. And that has all been built. Buck Showalter started it. It was a playoff team in '95 and then carried on to bigger and better things by Torre in 1996 with that World Series win over Atlanta. Cervelli grounds out to the left side. Blake makes the play, and here's our chat with Joe Torre, and the first question was about a missed opportunity in the bottom of the 3rd to make that a bigger inning for the Dodgers.
We did, unfortunately. You know, the double play puts us ahead, but it's you know, you left a lot of money out there. You just the thing I'm happy about, Joseph, is the fact that you know, after falling behind 3-0, we came right back. We gave up an unfortunate run in the top half of the inning, came back. So, you know, hopefully we can get this thing together.
I have to ask you about facing the guys in the other dugout and the core 4 and guys who you're a father figure type to. What's that been like the last couple of days?
It's been really strange. I mean, you know, I go up there, you know, watching Jeter, and you know, I've never pulled against this kid in my life. You know, even Posada and those guys, but it's just been a very unusual experience for me. I knew it was going to be emotional in some way. You know, you still want to win the game. You're still thinking all lines, but it's really strange to look out there and see him in the uniform of a different color.
Thanks for your time, Joe.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Second pitch to Brett Gardner is a strike, and the count 1 ball 1 strike. The next question was going to be about Alex Rodriguez. We ran out of time during the break. Seems like an easy cop out, but Joe Torre's never been one to duck a question from the dugout or anywhere. And whether the two had come together, met face to face, been able to shake hands or not, that hadn't happened up until about an hour and a half before game time, when Joe Torre was meeting with the media down in the Dodger dugout, and it did not happen last night. And there's some bad blood there with some of the things that were said by Joe Torre and Tom Verducci in his book that came out prior to last season regarding Alex Rodriguez. Here's a 2-1 pitch and a strike. It's 2-2. And hitting Rodriguez 8th in a playoff game against the Tigers. So all that went into what was an anticipated meeting that, as far as I know, has not happened to this point. Runner at second with 1 out. 2 balls 2 strikes on Gardner, who flied to left his first time up, and now grounds to the right side. Going to be a tough play. Loney feeds too late. Gardner with his speed got around the tag, and it's first and third, 1 out for the Yankees in the 4th.
Brett Gardner got out of the box in a hurry and beats Kuroda to the bag. And I know what you may be thinking, maybe on the East Coast. How in the world can A.J. Burnett be hitting right now? Well, Joe Girardi realizes for the Yankees to win, he has got to have A.J. Burnett in his pocket. He's got to have him feeling good about himself. It's a 1-run ball game. And in postseason, would a pinch hitter be hitting now? Of course that's the case, but not in June. A squeeze certainly could be in order here, or a safety squeeze.
Hey, Kuroda almost balked.
Yeah, he did.
He looked over at third. Swisher was hopping around, and
fake break at third, right? That's very close. But you can fake to third, you can fake to second. But if you fake to third, you have to step off before you look to first. And he barely did it.
Showing bunt early, and the bunt is foul. Strike 1.
It's one of the foolproof plays in baseball. If you're the runner on at third base, follow the third baseman in. The shortstop goes to second. And if the ball is bunted to the third baseman, when he throws the ball to first, you walk home. We'll see if Swisher does that. He did it before the last pitch. You could show bunt and still score a run.
Swisher's got to read it, just like any infielder. And Kuroda with a long pause. Now a look. And the bunt is effective to get Gardner to second. Swisher has to hold at third, and it's second and third, 2 out.
You know, normally the shortstop, the reason it's foolproof, normally the shortstop will go and cover second base. Well, Swisher didn't follow through with coming up the line, so the sacrifice is successful. But had Swisher followed through with that play, then he throws the ball to first base, you're halfway home. It's an old Chuck Tanner play.
One of the other reasons why you can play it a little more conservatively and hope to get better results from Burnett in the bottom of the inning is you've got Jeter, who's obviously a tremendous hitter, coming up.
Right.
Looking for a 2-out RBI hit.
Yep.
He takes a strike. Jeter has walked, stolen a base, scored a run, singled, and scored a run. As I mentioned, when he got a base hit in the third inning, 318 hits, the most all-time during interleague play. He's got Swisher at third. He's got Gardner at second, and there's a beach ball, a warning track in left, so we have to pause. Jeter is driven in 39. out of that top spot in the order, and he is tied up on a good fastball from Kuroda, strike 2.
Might be the best pitch Kuroda has thrown the whole game. Right in on the hands to Derek Jeter.
Larry Boa positioning the defense. They do have DeWitt backed up at second base. That's where Jeter went for his base hit in the third. To DeWitt's left. He's the second baseman. Loney is way off the bag. Here's a 0-2. And a strikeout ends the inning. Strikeout number 4 for Kuroda. Gets around the strikeout, the wild pitch, the base hit, bottom of the 4th inning. 5-4 LA. They have hung on to their 1-run lead. They got 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the order for the Dodgers. And that means for Kyle, it's like a swinging bunt. That is just beautiful. Base hit. Just chopping at it, and for Kyle's on base for the 2nd time in this game.
That was well done. The only problem with that play is being out of the box when you make contact. There is a danger for that, but he wasn't, says home plate umpire Jerry Crawford.
So we talked to Joe Girardi during the break, and we're going to play that for you when we get an opportunity to punch it in here in the bottom of the 4th. A leadoff base hit. I'm sure Girardi's saying, and that's all Burnett needs for all the problems he's had in this game. Now he has A-Rod playing in anyway, and for Kyle with just a chopper that he slaps at, and he's on to start the inning.
Chopper by design.
We'll slide into that interview after the first pitch, and the first question was to Joe Girardi about how seriously he considered lifting A.J. Burnett in the top of this 4th inning for a pinch hitter. With 2 runners on, down by a run, and here was Joe Girardi's answer.
Well, I mean, if the situation's possibly different, we might pinch hit there. But I felt that, Jeet swinging the back good to get a sacrifice down, and then maybe we can get 2 runs with the base hit by Jeet. But it didn't happen, and it's awful early in the game.
What's going on with A.J. Burnett? He's got such good stuff. It makes it that much more frustrating, I'm sure, to see him struggle.
No, he's frustrated with himself. That's part of it, and that's part of managing people, not just the game, but you have to manage the people. And at times he's not locating. And in this league, when you don't locate, I don't care how good your stuff is, you're going to get hit.
We've seen him move around on the pitching rubber. He started on the other side. He slid around a little bit. Do you worry about a guy that's that talented thinking about things, tipping pitches, where he is on the rubber that could lock him up?
Anytime anyone's thinking about what they're doing in this game, I worry about it because it has to be instinctual. And sometimes in this game you have to make some adjustments, and we're trying to make them. And as I've said all along, we're going to get this guy right, and when he's right, he's going to be really good for us.
Have you spent any time with Joe Torre, your former manager?
I had a chance to spend some time with him yesterday, before the game, and that's about it.
And I'm sure baseball talk was way down on the list.
Well, we were actually talking about our daughters. His daughter's a little older than mine, and I was just asking him some young girl questions that I'm going to have to deal with.
We can all use help with that. Last question's about the All-Star game and you having a hand in picking the roster. When do you start thinking about that?
Well, I start looking at numbers, but the one thing is I got to see who is picked by the votes and who's picked by, the players, and then you go from there.
It's a nice problem to have. It means something happened really good last
Yeah, it sure is.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Joe Girardi in his 3rd year managing the Yankees, and he has really blossomed. I think he was a little tight at the start of his turn as manager of the Yankees. They missed the playoffs, had a decent year in his first year. They won it all last year. He's been very at ease. He handles the media well. He certainly had a good guy to learn from in Joe Torre and others during his career. La Russa, Zimmer, long list. Here's Cervelli from his knees, and no chance to get for Call, who has his 11th stolen base of the season. And it's a 3-1 count on Matt Kemp.
Huge jump. Cervelli with no chance, but a valiant try. Robinson Cano in front of the bag. But even if that ball is right on the bag, no chance to get for call.
I know you liked Joe Girardi's answer about managing people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's what it's all about. We talked about it earlier. Check up from the neck up. It's not the arm he's worried about. It's his head.
Talking about A.J. Burnett, who's behind on the count to Kemp 3-1 and gets a fastball by him. Full count. Seems like A.J. Burnett can throw mid-90s effortlessly.
I mean, once your ability is established, it's common sense from a psychological standpoint that it ceases to be a physical problem. It becomes a mental problem. That's why you notice it even in everyday walk of people.
Here's the next to Kemp, and here is a walk of another person. Handed out by Burnett. Handed to Matt Kemp. And that's it. So that didn't work at all for Joe Girardi. He allowed Burnett to hit in the top of this 4th inning with 2 on 1 out, hoping that he would get it together in the bottom of the 4th. The first 2 have reached. Burnett is gone. Logan's coming in. And Burnett will have more questions about what's happened to his stuff.
what his teammates do. He's almost ignored. You've heard about guys who are pitching a no-hitter, and players don't talk to them. Well, the same goes, they feel so badly for him, and he's going so poorly, and nobody does anything other than maybe a slight pat on the rear from Mike Harkey.
Here's Boone Logan, the left-hander, takes over. It's his 16th game, filling the role that Phil Koch had last year for the Yankees. Now with Detroit, it's Ethier, lefty on lefty, 2 on, nobody out. And a strike over the outside corner, 1-1. Lead runner is for Carl. Matt Kemp is behind him for Carl with a slap chopping base hit to start this inning. Stole second, a walk to Kemp. And now Andre Ethier, who's headed for his first All-Star appearance, can add to this Dodger lead. Strike 2.
Joe, you've heard that expression, the loneliness of a long-distance runner. A pitcher, number one, he starts at a lonely position. And there is nobody lonelier in this ballpark now than A.J. Burnett.
The 1-2 pitch. Just reaching for it, flipping it into right for out number 1. So Ethier not only doesn't get a hit, but he doesn't advance the runners, and it's 2 on, 1 out. PBR Verizon game summary. That was a big out by Boone Logan to come in and get Ethier, make good pitches. Teixeira with a 3-run shot in the first inning. Dodgers came back with 2 in their half of the first. Loney had an RBI there. He had 2 more in the third with a bases loaded base hit into right. So he has 3 RBIs on the night. The Yankees are 6-22 when they allow 5 or more runs. Here's Manny Ramirez, who's doubled home, a run, and walked. Boone Logan pitches to Ramirez, and that's down and in, ball 1. Ramirez steps out. This is a Dodger team that has not won the World Series since 1988. A 1-0 pitch, in for a strike. They've been to the postseason the last couple of years with Manny Ramirez, with Joe Torre. They have been knocked out by the Phillies. And they are no longer in the top spot in the NL West. They're 4 games out at the start of the day. San Diego started the afternoon with a 2.5 game lead over second place San Francisco. Surprising Padres. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Tried to check his swing. He did. That's 2-1.
It's a remarkable thing about Ramirez as a hitter is his pitch recognition is extraordinary.
We used to describe Manny Ramirez as a hitter who could hit the best pitchers' best pitches. Didn't matter what it was. If he was looking for it, he'd drill it. That's down and in, 3-1. He might not be in that category anymore, but he is still regarded as one of the most dangerous right-handed hitters in the game, and now he has the count in his favor, 3 balls and a strike.
That's another thing. He always seems to have the count in his favor. Even when it's 2 strikes, he's one of the best 2-strike hitters the game's seen in a long time.
That's down and in to load him up. Another walk. That's 7 walks handed to the Dodgers in 3 1/3 innings.
Number 7, James
Nationwide,
Loney.
thousands of communities have gotten involved as Chevy and Scotts have set out to rebuild local ballparks. Don't miss your chance to get involved and win a new Chevy at ChevyBaseball.com. So a hit, 2 walks in the inning, and here's Loney, who's had a nice night. Sac fly, 2-run single. 50 RBIs now in the season for James Loney. Breaking ball misses, ball 1. And Logan stares in at Jerry Crawford, longtime Major League umpire, after ball 1. Jerry Crawford. He crouches down and looks at a 1-0 delivery. It's low, 2-0. One out in the inning. Yankees have turned 1 double play tonight. That was on a ball hit by Russell Martin in the 3rd. Here's a 2-0. Hard hit, base hit into right field. Another RBI, maybe 2. In the score for Cobb. Here comes Kemp. He is out for out number 2.
Ramirez and Loney should have moved up on the play, but they stay at first and second respectively. Strong throw from Steve Swisher, right on the money. Or Nick Swisher, I beg your pardon. Francisco Cervelli applies the tag. That's the toughest play for a catcher because you really don't know where the runner is. And when you turn around, you don't know whether he's going for the outside part of the plate, the inside part of the plate. But Cervelli guesses right and applies it with the glove for the out.
And it's 2 on, 2 out for Casey Blake. Fastball for strike 1. So it's an RBI single for Loney. And it's a 6-4 Dodger lead here in the 4th.
I was thinking of Nick Swisher's father, Steve Swisher, who was a very, very good defensive Major League catcher.
And who is here in L.A. for this series. 1 ball, 1 strike on Blake. Now it's Ramirez, the lead runner at second. Loney on at first. Strike 2 on Casey Blake. Next inning, we're going to have a chance to visit with Reggie Jackson and Tommy Lasorda. Talk about the history of these two franchises and how they have intersected. Tommy Lasorda, how they've intersected during the Fall Classic, meeting 11 times. Last 3 times, 77, 78, and 81. Pitches inside, 2-2 on Blake. The next from Logan is low, and it's a full count. Tommy Lasorda took over the Dodgers in '76. That happened in September. Fernando Valenzuela with that great season in 1981. A big part of a championship for Los Angeles. A 4-2 win over the Yankees in the World Series. 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 pitch. Runners go and a foul straight back. Joe Girardi's starter, A.J. Burnett, got into this fourth inning. 6 hits. And he allowed 6 runs. Another foul straight back. Same spot with the runners going on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Blake has struck out, walked. Dodgers trying to turn it back on again. Another 3-2 and another foul ball. Same pitch, same swing, same spot. Back on the screen behind home plate. Fox Saturday Baseball next week. Back at our normal start time of 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And one of the matchups, the Washington Nationals hosting the New York Mets. Mets are absolutely red hot. And as of the moment, Steven Strasburg is scheduled to pitch in that game. New York Mets started the day a half game behind Atlanta.
How about the Mets rotation? They lost today, but R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer, 6-0. Mike Pelfrey won his 10th last night. That is since May 17th.
Here's a line drive fair down the right field line. Manny Ramirez will score. They hold Loney at third, and it's another run, 7-4 Dodgers in the fourth. Good at bat by Casey Blake.
What a third base coach will do in a situation like this, as Blake peppers the right field line. Nick Swisher over to make the play. If there's a momentary bobble, Larry Bowa at third base, who's going to move up the line, will send the second runner. See him moving up the line. He sees the play in right field, sees it develop, and holds Maloney at third base. You can't do that when a ball's hit down the left field line, because the throw can come in behind you. As the towel is waved for Manny Ramirez. That was the fourth 3-2 pitch.
And now an intentional walk to Russell Martin, who's 1 for his last 21. To load him up for Blake DeWitt. So that's 3 more walks in this inning. And 8 handed to the Dodgers in less than 4 full innings by the Yankees. Every Dodger in the lineup's been on base except Kuroda, who has a sacrifice bunt in this game. There's ball 4, and they're loaded for Blake DeWitt.
It seems like the score is 15-4 Dodgers, but it's only a 3-run game.
Second baseman, Blake DeWitt.
Dodgers have had so many base runners.
Should be able to interview Torrey again. This half inning has been that long. 21 minutes just for the half inning. There are the runners, Loney, Blake, Martin, and now Blake DeWitt. It's turned into a long half inning for Boone Logan, who delivers a breaking ball in for strike 1. Logan took over with 2 on and nobody out. Got Ethier, but walked Ramirez. Loney with a base hit. Kemp was thrown out at the plate. RBI double by Blake. An intentional walk to Martin, and now DeWitt's in the hole 0-2. 51 total pitches this half inning. 27 by this left-hander. The 0-2 pitch, and a little pump back liner off the end of the bat. Blake DeWitt caught by Cano. In the inning, 2 more runs for the Dodgers, and after 4 with Lasorda and Mr. October coming in, 7-4 LA. World Series 77 Game 6. Reggie Jackson with home runs and 3 consecutive swings of the bat in the clinching game. And then we go to 1978 Game 4, a non-call of interference when Reggie Jackson broke up a double play with his hip, helped the Yankees win the game and another World Series. Well, we welcome you back as this game gets into the 5th inning, and that was a younger Tommy Lasorda firing his way out of that dugout to argue about that call with Reggie.
And a thinner one, too.
Yeah. Well, here he is. Here's Tommy Lasorda. Here's Reggie Jackson. And those 2 years, I'm sure you guys get questions about those years all the time.
Yeah. And the answer is always the same.
Yeah.
He should have been decked.
I think he's still mad, Reggie.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, let me tell you something, Joe.
Yes.
And he should remember this.
Who should remember?
Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
Okay.
Don Hoke was on second base. We're playing in Pittsburgh. And a guy hits a cinch double play ball, and he lets the ball hit him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a double play, right?
Right.
That's right.
But they changed the ruling. If he did that, that's called a double play.
Interference.
And that's what this guy did.
And I don't remember it.
Very same thing.
Going with that.
Very same thing. He interfered with the ball, rightly so.
I interfered with the ball, rightly so,
Yeah.
because I was in the baseline. Isn't that right?
No.
Where was I?
You stuck your backside into the ball, Reggie. Tell the truth.
Look.
Look, right there.
I'm right in the baseline.
Yeah, you're in the
I'm right in the
Look
baseline.
at that. What are you bending over for? What are you bending over
I'm right
for?
in the baseline. A guy threw the ball right at me. If you make a perfect throw and a guy slides into third base and you hit him, it's an error on the throw.
Here's a swinging strike 3, and Granderson is out to start
Joe,
winning.
did you see the guy bending?
Would you let the
Did he
guy
bend
call
over?
a game? Let the guy call a game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, set the game, Joe.
Okay. Well, Granderson just struck out and was thrown out at first. I didn't realize that this wound was still open.
It's still open.
It's there, boy.
Let me tell you
And
something.
It can never be repaired.
Let me tell you something. I was coming to the ball game yesterday on Friday, and I needed a couple of field passes and a couple of tickets, and they were sold out. And so I called up to Tommy, and he wasn't there. No answer. So there's a message that says, you've reached Tommy Lasorda. I'm not home right now, so please leave your message and call me back. And by the way,
here's Teixeira down the right field line, hooking into the corner. It's a foul ball. Strike one.
If you're not a Dodger fan, you may not get into heaven. and I'm on the other end of the line. I said to myself, you got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me.
Made a Dodger fan out of you.
I said, you have Reggie Jackson on the other end of your phone, and you're telling me I need to be a Dodger fan or I can't get into heaven. I said, first of all, I'm in town here with 27 world championships. I didn't want to rub it in, but I just want to let you know that you guys got 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't really know, but now you're getting me upset. I'm going to come into your ballpark tonight, and when I get in the ballpark, no one will even know you're in the building, because I'm going to bring all the rings and all the pennants, and I'm going to have Jeter, and everybody's going to be there. And so when I get there, the first thing I want you to do is give me an apology for telling me that I need to get into heaven. I need to be a Dodger.
You're not getting in baseball. You're getting in for lying.
Did he get in the game? Did you get him passes and tickets for the game last night?
Tried to do everything I could for him.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Well, you run this place. You still run this place.
Hey, no, but 61 years here.
I know. So it sounds like this rivalry, you know, there's so much hype and so much the rivalry, Yankees, Dodgers, and here are you two. I mean, you haven't
trying to be his friend.
I know.
They beat us 77. They beat us 77.
Right.
They beat us 78.
Yes. 81, what happened?
And in my prayers, I said, dear God, if you could see it in your heart to put me in another fall classic, I want those Yankees to be there. And God answered my prayers because they were there in 81 and we took them to the woodshed where they belong.
And that was the Yankees win the first 2 games. Right? You come to Dodger Stadium, you have a meeting with the Dodgers. What'd you tell them that night before the game?
I'll tell them I'm sick and tired of these guys beating us. That's what I told them.
And you had a pretty good left-hander on your team in 1981, Fernando Valenzuela.
And not bad.
And you were a pretty good left-hander in your day. There's Fernando right there. He looks fantastic.
You told me the other day, just earlier, he's telling my friend, I got a guy, Kendall's with me, a 10-year-old, and he told him, he said, if I'd have played against Reggie, I was sitting by A-Rod, if I'd have played against Reggie, I'd let him get a hit once in a while to make sure he stayed in the game.
So the manager would play him.
How about that? Insults to my friends.
But aren't you the guy that on 3 consecutive pitches went deep?
That's what I tried to tell him. I was there. He was shaking in his boots every time I'd come to play. His number
only time it's ever been done, by the way.
His number one nemesis, and he's still angry and upset.
A blind pig will always find an acorn.
I'm very disappointed. And the other guy that did that was Babe Ruth. He was blind too, wasn't he?
I read a quote by you the other day saying that if it weren't for the Dodgers, you wouldn't be in Mr. October.
That's exactly right. I wouldn't be in this. I think I got 10 World Series homers.
Mr. March.
1 on, 2 out, and a base hit to the left after the base hit to center by Rodriguez. And the Yankees, who are down by 3, will have the tying run come to the plate here in the 5th inning.
Everyone's tired of our rhetoric now. See, we're going to let the Yankees start taking over.
No, I mean, let's be honest. Now, Tommy.
Yes.
You're kidding. I mean, this is half-hearted, this attack that you...
He's always getting on me.
I mean, you're just kind of joking around here. I don't want people to get the wrong impression.
I'll be honest with you. I told our shortstop you should have hit him in the head. That's if he wanted to get hit.
You won't let
hit him in the head.
Let it go.
You guys made a bad play that day, and I was really disappointed because it was in the rules. I was in the baseline, and you came out and made a big stink and was arguing with the umpire and being very unsportsmanlike. That's not like you.
2 on with 2 out.
Is this guy kidding or what?
And Nick Swisher is at the plate. Swisher grounds one foul off to the right. Reggie,
good swing.
Reggie, people talk about the 3 home runs on the 3 consecutive pitches. That happened at Yankee Stadium. But if I look at the numbers, you played in this stadium 10 World Series games, and you owned the Dodger pitching in this park.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's not just the home runs at Yankee Stadium.
The greatest confrontation I ever saw in all the years I've been in baseball is when I brought Bobby Welch in to pitch to him.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
What a classic confrontation.
I'll tell you,
he got you the first time, but not the second.
That put me on the edge of the bench, boy, watching him. Pow, pow, same fire, same, and him with that big swing. about 11 times.
Well, here we're flashing back now, and here's Reggie Jackson. And just to give you the numbers, there's Bob Welch. Reggie hit .459, 17 for 37 against the Dodgers in this park with 6 home runs against Dodger pitchers.
Listen to that. You need to listen to that. Didn't you hear? You listen to that.
2 on, 2 out, and now strike 2 on Nick Swisher.
4 and some change with a whole grocery basket full of RBIs and homers.
6 home runs.
When I played and when I managed, I never complimented the opposing team or opposing player ever.
Why not? That's not sportsmanlike.
Why should I?
That's not sportsmanlike.
Why should I? I never. If they pitch a great game against me, to say, what about that pitching? Well, he was lucky.
Why are you so upset and still holding this anger? It's not good. Let it go.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Swisher. 2 on, 2 out.
I had the opportunity to pitch to you.
To actually physically pitch to him. Yeah. Here's a pitch down and away, and the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. What would you give Reggie Jackson in your prime?
The first thing I'd do is sit him on his back.
So you knock him down.
Knock him down. And then he couldn't hit my curveball. If he tried all day long, he could not hit my curve.
Let me tell you this. If I'd have faced you in October, Mr. October would be in capitals. You see that sign out there that says Hollywood? All those big letters would say Mr. October if I faced you in October.
Yeah, go ahead, Reggie. Have fun. Go ahead. It's not like you to do that to
me. Man, I had no idea. Tim, were you aware of the hornet's nest that was walking in here in the 5th inning? You were between these two?
Yes, I was.
Well, you're closer to Tommy. He's the one that's upset.
It's not a surprise.
No?
No.
You can't have your phone message when I'm calling you and it says, I just want to let you all know that I'm calling.
You said you're Mr. October. I answered you back. I said, I'm Mr. Spring, Fall, and Winter.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 on, 2 out.
You're the other 3 seasons.
Yeah. If he wants to be October, I got the 3 of them.
The fall belongs to the Yankees, I think 27 times.
You two need your own sitcom to pitch up and away.
Yeah.
Reggie and Tommy.
Yeah, he's about as funny as a bloody nose.
This guy's killing me. I'm out of respect. I'm going to let you slide on that. I'm going to let you go with it.
It's a 3-2 pitch. The runners are going to go. By the way, there's a game being played, and the Yankees trail by 3. They have the tying run at the plate, and it's Nick Swisher, who in this game is 0 for 2. Back-to-back hits by Rodriguez and Cano, and Kuroda's trying to get through the 5th.
And Swisher with 29 home runs. 29 home runs last year and 11 home runs this year.
I like this swing. Yeah, good for him.
No, Tim, he gets a lot of big hits for us, too.
Runners go, and a foul backing out of play. Yeah, you think about the Yankees, Reggie, and you think, obviously, A-Rod, Teixeira, they're starting to get hot. But Swisher's kind of been there all season long and has been more than just a complimentary player, as I described him earlier. He's been a producer for this team.
Well, he's really done well. He's hit really a little over 300 up until about the last week or so. He's fallen down to about 290, but still has been very productive in his home runs and base hits. RBIs have really all come in key situations. The guy that really sticks out, though, for us is, I think he leads the major leagues in hitting right now, is Robbie Cano.
Yep. Came into today hitting .361. Swisher's thrown a guy out at the plate in this game, and he's trying to deliver runners to the plate for the Yankees. He pops it foul back and out of play, and this has turned into a good at bat. Tommy, what do you think of this Dodger team here in 2010? They had a good stretch there, but it's been a little sloppy of late on the bases.
Well, it's been first our pitching went haywire, and then we got some good pitch games, and then the hitting stopped. That was the thing that would concern us most, was the hitting. Because we got guys from 1 to 8 that can swing the bat, and we have a real good ball team, and I think our team right now is better than the other teams.
Runners will go again. Swisher in a battle with Kuroda, and a grounder to the right side. Loney makes the play, inning over. I want to see you two shake hands as we say goodbye. You and Reggie.
No.
I want to see a hug. Make it right, Reggie.
Took a swing at me before we got on camera. He did.
Put your arm around him. Reggie. Oh, my God. I feel so much better now. Still a 3-run Dodger lead after. World Series behind the phenomenon that was Fernando Valenzuela, the 1981 NL Cy Young Award winner. The Dodgers beat the Yankees in 6 games to win the World Series. We did that one for Tommy. 1981, Dodgers won that series 4 games to 2. Here's Logan back for more work, and he finds the strike zone with Kuroda at the plate. Dodgers lead 7-4. When both these franchises were in New York, the Yankees won 6 World Series, lost 1. The only year they lost was 1955. Kuroda slaps at him, fouls away strike 2. Since they've moved to Los Angeles in '58, the Dodgers and Yankees have split 4 World Series. Dodgers won in '63 and '81, and the Yankees won in '77 and '78. It's a ball down and in. And I can tell you, Tim, as a 41-year-old growing up in St. Louis in the middle part of this country, that was really the first time that I paid attention to national baseball of Yankees, Dodgers. They created a lot of baseball fans beyond just New York and L.A. with those great series.
The left coast and the right coast, as Kuroda is down on strikes. Really remarkable for the Dodgers over 143-year period. Had 2 managers. They had Walter Alston manage on 23 one-year contracts. 23 one-year contracts. And then Tommy Lasorda took over in 1977. You mentioned September of '76 for a few games. Then his first full year was 1977, and he managed for 20 years. So that's 43 years for 2 managers. And they've had 6 since Tommy retired.
And both Walter Alston and Tommy Lasorda are in baseball's Hall of Fame. 2 out. Nobody on as Furcal grounds out to the second baseman, Cano. Fox Saturday Baseball is presented by Chevrolet and our award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. Batter is Matt Kemp.
Joe, that was a time when the divisional playoff was the best 3 out of 5, and whoever won that best 3 out of 5 went to the World Series. And I was on a Phillies team in 1977. We were trailing 2-0, and Steve Carlton won Game 3. And then in the 10th inning of Game 4, Bill Russell lines the ball to Gary Maddox, the surest-handed center fielder that I ever played with, and he dropped the ball. And the Dodgers won the game in the 10th inning and went on to face the Yankees. But the Phillies had a very, very good ball club that year.
And when you think of that Dodger team, you know, for somebody like me as a kid, you knew all the position players on the infield. I mean,
right.
Garvey.
They were together for 9 years.
Davey Lopes, Billy Russell, and Ron Say, who was at the ballpark, and it was great to see Ron Say before tonight's game. Here's a grounder to third. It's a foul ball, strike 2.
And all 4 of them came up at one time or another with Tommy Lasorda as a minor league manager.
One ball, 2 strikes. Matt Kemp trying to reach for the 3rd consecutive time. Boone Logan trying to keep it a 3-run game. It's 7-4, Dodgers leading, bottom of the 5th, and that skips in for ball 2. In the 6th inning, the Yankees will have the bottom 3 in their lineup, which will include a pinch hitter. As Logan is due up 3rd in the 6th. Dodgers trying to win here tonight to force the rubber game tomorrow night when Andy Pettitte takes on Clayton Kershaw. There's a strikeout as Logan pulled the string in a perfect inning in the 5th for Boone Logan. And a look at the Griffith Observatory. In this great Red Stripe Light. No matter what the score, keep it light with new Red Stripe Light. Hooray Beer by Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage, and by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. 6th inning of a 7-4 game, and the Yankees will have the bottom 3 in their lineup. Cervelli, Gardner, and then a pinch hitter for Logan, who settled down and had a perfect bottom of the 5th. And here is Cervelli, and at the other microphone, As Cervelli grounds to third, it's juggled, played nicely by Blake. One out is Billy Crystal. Hi, how are you?
Good. He was wearing my granddaughter's helmet, wasn't he?
Seriously, is that thing? It's enormous. It's an enormous helmet that Francisco Cervelli wears, and
he slept in that last night. I mean, like curled up in that.
You can bring pictures out of the bullpen in that thing.
I thought you were going to introduce Billy as Phil Rizzuto.
Holy cow, you huckleberries. I haven't done this in so long. But, you know, it's apropos, Tommy, of Jeter's birthday is today. Holy cow, when did that huckleberry get to be 36 years old?
Here's a pitch
unbelievable,
outside
isn't
Brett
it?
Gardner. It is unbelievable. Isn't that crazy to think that Derek Jeter's 36?
It's astounding, you know, because he still has the same great youthfulness. He's got the same eyes he had when I met him back in '96, and he just loves to play every day. Yeah. It's great to see.
Well, you're obviously an enormous Yankee fan.
Yes. Well, not enormous, but I
mean, you're a diminutive, big Yankee fan.
Yes. That's why, you know, this has been a tough thing. That's why I'm wearing my hat is the Switzerland hat. You see, people thought, Billy, you converted. He converted. This is from Switzerland because this is my team. I love this team, and I followed this team forever. I played for that team, and Joe was one of my closest friends. So I thought, you know, just for the safety of walking to my car,
it's
I
a
should wear the
survival.
Switzerland. Yeah.
It's a survival. So you're a surviving Swiss.
That's the Bronx in me.
And one of the great things that you've ever done, I would assume, is produce and direct 61.
Yes.
What a fabulous movie.
Oh, thank you. That was Joe was in the movie.
I was. My voice was in the movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You told me you didn't like it, Tim.
I did not tell you.
I know.
I did not tell you.
That was a treat for me to get a chance as Gardner gets a base hit the opposite way. It's such a well done film, and I think, you know, so many times, I'm not going to say non-baseball people make baseball movies, but obviously you being somebody who grew up Long Beach, you idolized the Yankees. You became friends with Mickey Mantle as the years went on. This was something that was so passionate.
Well, you know, I was 13 years old that year, and which is amazing because my bio says I'm 46. But that was the greatest summer that I can remember, and you played against Mantle. And I remember you told me something, and when Mickey hit that home run off Barney Schultz in the 64 World Series.
Game 3.
Which he called.
Yes, he did.
He said to Ellie Herrick, go home, because if he gets one over, it's gone. And you said to me, I was so proud that something I called went that far.
I did.
Am I right?
I remember that line, yes.
But we got to recreate Yankee Stadium in the old Tiger Stadium and, you know, turned it into that great old ballpark, which is now gone. And but the memories live on, and the movie does. And I'm really excited that the Baseball Hall of Fame has accepted the movie into their archives. And we're going to have a ceremony October 1st in Cooperstown.
Great.
We're going to come up and show the film, and they're going to accept the script written by Hank Steinberg, and the cast is going to come up, and the movie is going to go into the Hall of Fame. It's like, it's so thrilling.
Oh, that's got to be.
And so on HBO, Thomas Jane goes from playing Mickey Mantle to his new series on HBO. Here's a pitch that misses for ball one that we'll probably just leave out of.
Yeah, I think we should just stop right there.
Let's talk about your friend.
Bryce Harper, when Bryce Harper was selected number 1, he's 17 years old.
Right.
And they said, well, who's your favorite player? And he said, Mickey Mantle. And I said, well, it's not possible. You know, and I said, why? And they said, well, from the movie, from 61. So that was like great, but it's really Tom Jane is his favorite player.
Right. One ball, one strike, one on, one out. And Kuroda's still out there. It's been an effort and a fight through the first 5+ innings. There's a good reason to have you on because you are close with Joe Torre.
Yes.
And I do want to ask you, we interviewed Joe, and Joe's always very open about his feelings and very good with us. But as his friend, I mean, what do you sense with the Yankees coming back and the way that whole thing ended in New York and how he feels?
I was with him when the schedule was announced. We were playing golf and the schedule was announced.
Gardner gets back around the tag applied by Loney.
So we got the Yankees. And he went, oh boy. But he was happy that it was here. I think it was good for him that it was here, that it was in Dodger Stadium before, you know, going back to the stadium. And I think he had a lot of apprehension about this. And, you know, I think it was more about the way he left there and didn't leave on his own terms.
Yes.
In many ways, and it was a shame because of what he meant to the city and to the team, and how he not only winning the championships, but put a stamp on the Yankees that changed them.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate that it's like this. That there's tension now, and I think he was really happy to see the guys that he loved and that he helped mold.
This is a foul by Colin Curtis, who's up there batting for Boone Logan, who is finished after going 2.
The one courtesy that I do give the Yankees is that no one has worn number 6 since Joe Torre left.
Nor should they.
Nor should they.
Yeah.
They haven't retired his number, but no one's worn it, which I think is a gesture, a courtesy of the New York Yankees, and rightly so.
I hope it all works out. He meant so much to the team and to the city, and for there to be strained feelings, it's hard. I think for him, this thing was like going to a party and seeing an ex-wife. I think it was a little hard that way, but then winning today, I'm sure he feels a lot better than he did last night.
And I think the brilliance of Joe Torre, and we don't mean to make this whole game about the manager. I think that's missing the point, but I think he could do anything in this game. I thought he would have been a great commissioner if he ever went that direction. Yep. He's so good at managing people. He's a terrific broadcaster. There's so many sides to him, which is, I'm sure, what draws you to him as a friend.
Well, but he's a true person. I know a lot of baseball people, and they're all great in their own way, but he's the most human, genuine guy I've ever met, and we've been friends for a long time. And he's an astounding guy. There is crime in baseball.
Very, very smart.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes the 36-year-old. There is action for the Dodgers out in their bullpen.
I remember 36. Do you remember 36?
It's been a while.
The pause told me everything.
Well, you'll have a little more time to think about when you were 36, Tim, because it looks like we're going to have a pitching change for the Dodgers. Jeter's coming up. There's one out in the inning.
I still can't believe that Huckleberry's 36. Look at him.
Thank you, Phil. Here comes the left-hander Hong-Chi Kuo. The hard-throwing left-hander Hong-Chi Kuo. We'll continue with Billy Crystal in the top of the 6th. Pitching change. Kuroda out. What a What a wonderful man, and that voice that's echoed through Yankee Stadium and Giant Stadium. And
the voice of God.
Oh, man. Here is Jeter taking on Hong-Chi Kuo. The tying run is at the plate. We're in the top of the 6th inning. 7-4. Dodgers out in front. Now you flip this lineup back to the top. It's Jeter with Granderson on deck. I like this move by Joe Torre. He's got Kuo, who's got just electric stuff dealing with Jeter as Kuroda was getting tired. But then, Tim, you've got the lefty Kuo to deal with Granderson, who really struggles against left-handed pitching.
But to face Jeter representing the tying run, it gives you an idea of just how fast he throws the ball. I mean, this guy he's of a different ilk.
1 ball, 1 strike is the count. And when you start talking about hard-throwing left-handers, right-handers, whatever, I want to ask Billy, I know you're a baseball fan, and you watch, I'm sure, on satellite, and you follow the Yankees wherever they go. But it's an interesting year around Major League Baseball with a lot of these young players who are coming up as Jeter takes a strike over the inside corner. And this Steven Strasburg, who makes you want to go to a television and watch him pitch.
Because
it's compelling.
It's compelling. His poise, his stuff. It's akin to, I guess, when Bob Feller came up with that speed and that curveball and that confidence when Feller was, 17 when he came up?
Right.
Here's a 1-2 and a strikeout of Derek Jeter on a good pitch from Kuo. 2 out in the inning.
Oh, that's a lousy birthday. Oh, no cannolis for him. No cannolis for him.
Slider on the first pitch. So no cannolis, Derek.
I'm on the bridge. I'm going to be on the bridge. I'm out of here.
A lot of hard stuff, and then one at the end with a wrinkle. And it's 2 on, 2 out. And here comes Granderson, and now he's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter. So Curtis Granderson, who really struggled against left-handed pitching last year, and who would be dealing with the left-hander Kuo, is lifted for Jorge Posada. And he will bat here in the 6th inning with 2 on and 2 out. So Kuo's presence gets Granderson out of the ballgame.
Anytime a manager lifts a pinch hitter or lifts a hitter for a pinch hitter who is a catcher, particularly in the National League, there's always a concern of what do you do if your other catcher gets hurt? If you're carrying 2 catchers, which most Major League teams do.
Well, the move that'll happen if Posada makes the out here is that Colin Curtis will stay in the game, bat in the 9 spot, and the pitcher will go in that number 2 spot, you would think. And Joe Girardi's bench is very inexperienced. He's got Russo, Huffman, and Pena left on his bench. And Posada flies one into right. Billy Crystal.
Great to be here, guys. Always good to
really
see you.
appreciate you stopping us.
Always, man. Thank you.
A hit, a walk, 2 left. Yankees have stranded 7. Good work by Kuo. Bottom of the 6th. Dodgers bat up by 3. And the first pitch is down and away from Park. Channahal Park was injured early. It's been a roller coaster ride. He struggled his last couple of times out. Prior to that, it seemed to figure it out. Longtime starting pitcher for the Dodgers. And now he's really found his niche in the bullpen. It's part of the Phillies the last couple of years. 1-0. Ball and a strike. Over but low, 2-1 on Manny Ramirez. 55 home runs for Manny Ramirez against Yankee pitching. Jimmy Fox hit the most ever against the Yankees, 70. Ted Williams, number 2 with 62, and then Manny Ramirez. That's in at the knees, 2-2. Here's a list. Manny's third, then Hank Greenberg and Carl Yastrzemski. Are those big names?
Big names.
And there's a heavy Red Sox influence on there. Not just the top 2 spots in Yaz, but certainly Manny Ramirez with all those years playing for Boston. Here's a 2-2. Full count.
Manny, part of the world champion Red Sox in 2004, trailing the Yankees no games to 3. They were 0-3 against the Yankees, came back to win 4 in a row, the first time it has ever been done in the major leagues.
That's over but low and a wild walk. So Ramirez is on base for the 4th time in this game. It'll bring in James Loney, who had a sac fly in the first, drove home 2 with a hit in the third, and an RBI in the 4th inning. The first from Park is over but low, ball 1. Start talking about what's going on around baseball here as we approach the beginning of July. Loney's fool gets it off the end of the bat and pops it into right center field for Gardner. 2 out. Coming into the day, the White Sox were 9.5 games out, Tim, on June 8th. Have now gone 15-1 since. They won today. They've won 11 games in a row. They won 3-2 over the Cubs. And they are bearing down on the Twins and the Tigers.
Unbelievable what Ozzie Guillen's troops have done on the south side of Chicago.
I mean, at the beginning of the year, it looked like he might not make it to the All-Star.
Yep. He even talked in that vein, as only Ozzie can do. Frivolously. Also, one of the big questions everybody's asking is, where is Cliff Lee headed? A guy who has not walked a batter in 37 innings. Has 81 strikeouts and 4 walks.
Part of a Mariners team that tried to retool over the offseason, and they're 14 games out at the start of the day. But they're trailing a Texas team that had won 11 straight into last night. That ends the inning. Manny's forced at second. We go to the 7th. Yankees Dodgers 7-4. Dodgers lead it. Back after this from your local Fox station. Saturday Baseball on Fox is presented by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball. Game gets into the 7th inning, and Hong-Chi Kuo will deal with the heart of the order with Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez, and Robinson Cano. If anybody gets on, Nick Swisher. The Yankees trailing by 3. Kuo came on to strike out Jeter and get the pinch hitter Posada to fly to right to end the top of the 6th. And now you can see that electric stuff, 94-mile-per-hour fastball, misses inside to Teixeira, who hit a 3-run home run in the 1st inning. It's been over 11 innings out of the bullpen for Kuo since he's allowed to run here at home. And he had an 18 2/3 innings pitch streak with no runs allowed. It was snapped last week.
We talked about all-stars earlier. In my opinion, Kuo should be an all-star. I mean, for an inning or two, when the Joe Torre and the Dodgers choose, he is unhittable.
And there is precedent to have a setup reliever make an all-star team. As roles have evolved in bullpens over the years, it would certainly be worthwhile for a National League team that needs to win a game. Here's a 1-2. Up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Talk to Joe Girardi. I mean, like it or not, home field advantage is tied to the league that wins the All-Star game. And Joe Girardi said, I will manage that game to win it because it meant a big difference to his Yankee team last year in the World Series as they beat Philadelphia when they got back home for Game 6. Here's a fly ball to right. Teixeira is retired, 1 out. Heath here with a smile and struggled a bit with that fly ball into right. Here are the leading vote getters in the National League. And I don't know, with the exception of third base, the way David Wright has played of late for the Mets, that you quarrel with any of this.
No.
And for a guy like Jason Hayward, now these are the fans voting. Jason Hayward is one of the top 3 leading vote getters in the outfield, and he has been a 20-year-old sensation for the Atlanta Braves. Strike 1 to Alex Rodriguez.
You know, in looking at the defense there and seeing Hanley Ramirez's name up there, I couldn't help but think, Joe, that, and I've been thinking about it all week, that incident that Freddie Gonzalez had with Hanley Ramirez, and in my opinion, Freddie Gonzalez was exactly right in doing what he did, taking Hanley Ramirez out of a game, not planning the next night. But you can't help but think that that didn't have at least something to do with Freddie Gonzalez's firing in Florida.
Well, they're heavily invested, obviously, in Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah.
Much less so in Freddie Gonzalez. The count goes to 1-2, making their way toward a new ballpark, trying to build for the future. Gonzalez is gone. Edwin Rodriguez is the interim manager, and I want to get Ken Rosenthal involved as the conversation is picked up with the name Bobby Valentine surfacing as candidate to manage with the Marlins. Kenny, what are you hearing about the managerial situation with the Marlins?
He will be the next manager of the Marlins. The real question with the Marlins is why they did this at that time. This goes back to the end of last season. Jeffrey Loria, the owner, nearly dismissed Freddie Gonzalez then and brought in Valentine. And really, it was just a matter of time, regardless of whether the incident with Hanley happened or not.
Here's a pop-up right side foul ball, and it will go into the seats out of the reach of Loney. Kenny, your microphone wasn't open at the beginning. I'm trying to piece it together, and I think what you started off saying is you think Bobby Valentine will be the next manager of the Marlins.
Joe, what I said exactly is that he has the uniform all but fitted. This will happen, and the only question is when it's going to happen. Probably late next week.
Well, Ken, I guess the follow-up question is, will Freddie Gonzalez be the manager of the Atlanta Braves next year?
Well, that's a great question, Tim, and every indication is that the answer is yes.
Here's A-Rod being called out on strikes for out number 2. And the second strikeout for Hong-Chi Kuo.
Good fastball to get Rodriguez. Go ahead, Ken. What leads you to believe that Freddie will be the manager? Because that's certainly
He's got a history with that organization, Tim, as we all know. Freddie does.
Right.
Bobby Cox is retiring. And while there will be several other big-name candidates out there, we could be seeing Joe Torre, a managerial free agent, Lou Piniella. Freddie Gonzalez is a guy that the Braves family is very comfortable with. They think of him as a good manager, not the way Jeffrey Loria in Florida thought of him.
Here's a 96-mile-per-hour fastball for a strike to Robinson Cano, who is a .361 hitter to lead the big leagues at the start of the day. The situation with the Cubs is getting uglier. Here's a line drive that's knocked down by Crow, and a shot puts it over the first dugout by Loney. The inning is over. It's time to stretch. Kenny's already doing that. He's up on his feet down by the dugout. We'll come back and talk to Ken about the Cubs after this. They got to celebrate a championship with the LA Lakers. Chan-Ho Park back to work. Showed you Don Newcomb earlier, and still with us Lorraine Bracco, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dave Winfield here with his son, and John Voight here at the ballpark tonight. Watching now, Chan-Ho Park, at the bottom of the 7th.
Joe, you talked about the Lakers and their world championship. How about the Blackhawks in Chicago and their championship? And what's going on the north side of Chicago? Very disturbing with Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah.
And there is no other way to put it. Out of control.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know it, Carlos Zambrano got into a heated argument. Had to be separated from his first baseman, Derek Lee. If you're fighting Derek Lee, who might be, first of all, one of the most mild-mannered and nicest guys to play this game.
That's right.
There's something really wrong.
That's right.
And that's what happened yesterday. The Cubs took Zambrano out of the game after the first, and they've suspended him. Jim Hendry, their general manager, has said we're going to play with 24 guys. And we'll continue to play with 24 guys till we figure it out. I don't know what they can do because he's not pitching well.
No.
They owe him a ton of money. He's bounced between the rotation and the bullpen. Now he's picking fights with his teammates again, as he did with Michael Barrett years ago, his catcher. And so you suspend him, and then what do? You cut him, and you owe him all that money. You can't trade him, I don't think. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Martin gets one off the end of the bat into left center field. A base hit. On base for the second straight time.
I guess if some people are thinking, well, isn't this similar to the Manny Ramirez situation in Boston? Manny was on the last year of his contract in Boston. So he signed a new contract after playing as well as he did the last 2 months of the season. But with Zambrano, if you trade him to somebody, they're stuck with the same thing the Cubs are stuck with right now.
I know Ken Rosenthal is poised to talk about this. I mean, where do you see this heading with Carlos Zambrano and the Cubs?
I do see it heading eventually to a trade. First of all, the collective bargaining agreement states that a suspension can last no more than 30 days. So eventually he's going to have to be either reinstated or traded. And guys, keep in mind, we always say, this guy's contract's too big, he can't be moved. And Zambrano does have more than $45 million remaining in salary. But the Cubs are the team that over the winter traded Milton Bradley. And if Milton Bradley can be traded with his contract, Carlos Zambrano can be traded. And frankly, at this point, it's difficult to imagine him pitching another game for the Cubs.
I agree with that.
Leadoff base hit by Russell Martin and a sacrifice bunt by Blake DeWitt. And Garrett Anderson, longtime Angel, bats for Hong-Chi Kuo and takes a strike. Jeff Weaver is getting loose for the Dodgers. Kuo went an inning and 2/3 perfect. Baseball with 2 strikeouts. Runner at second, 1 out. And Garrett Anderson pops it up. Left side for Alex Rodriguez. 2 out. But Ken, I don't want to let you go yet because the pitching stuff for Carlos Zambrano isn't anywhere close to what it has been. The pitching stuff that got him the big contract that the Cubs are burdened with right now. I mean, just on the mound, where do you see him ending up if he does come back to the Cubs? The bullpen?
Well, that's a really good question, Joe. And when the Cubs talk trade with other teams, what they're going to say is, here he is, he's healthy, he's 29 years old, he really hasn't pitched well in 2 years, but perhaps with a change of scenery, you can see him winning 12 to 15 games again. But for that to happen, he has to restore his sanity first, and that right now seems to be the primary issue.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, he appears to be healthy physically, but what about mentally? I mean, some of the things he does, you really have to question. I think sanity is the right word.
Here's for Call with a base hit into right. Here comes Martin. The throw by Swisher, who already has one tonight, is too late. Another run. It's 8-4, and going all the way to third is for Call.
Clutch hit for Rafael Furcal, and Swisher's throw is really on the money, but the ball stays down, goes through the legs of Cervelli. It would be very difficult, in my view, to give Cervelli the error. It seems to me that, or to give Swisher the error, it seems to me that it's Cervelli's error as Furcal goes to third.
And for Rafael Furcal, his third hit of the night, it's an 8-4 Dodger lead. It's obviously an RBI base hit, and they give the error to Nick Swisher, his second of the year, on the throw. By the way, this Yankee team started the night with just 25 errors committed by the team. What a good play by Cervelli.
Boy, that's a great play by Cervelli. That's one of those sliders that was thrown about 58.5 feet, landing in front of home plate. And watch Cervelli's action. Like it hit him on the right elbow, or right below the right elbow. Francisco appears to be all right.
You think Yankees, you think the pitching staff, they're number 2 in the American League. You think about their lineup. They have the 4th best team average, 81 home runs they've hit. 82 now with Teixeira's shot in this game. But this is the top defensive club in the American League for Joe Girardi. Here's a 2-0. And Kemp lines one into left. It's a base hit. It gets past the left fielder, Colin Curtis, goes to the track, and it's 9-4 Dodgers as Furcal scores on a hit by Kemp.
Curtis trying to make the shoestring catch, realizing you can't, tried to block it, skips over his head, and I would imagine it will go as a double for Kemp. And an RBI.
And it brings Mike Parkey, the acting pitching coach, out of the dugout to talk to Chan Ho Park. Let's go for a DirecTV game break. Back to the studio, Chris and Kevin. Chris, thanks. It's been a 2-run 7th. Pitch is outside from Park to Andre Ethier. Back-to-back hits for RBIs. It was an RBI single by Furcal. And they ruled it an RBI double by Matt Kemp. 2-0. I don't know if the story coming out of that Chicago game is how good the White Sox are playing, no doubt. But how bad the Cubs are playing, starting the day 8.5 games out in the NL Central. And nobody in the Central is really playing great baseball. No. The 2-0 pitch is outside, 3-0. Peavy pitched last night. Manny Ramirez is lifted. He's due up next, but Joe Torre is going to give him the rest of the night off. There's a strike. 3-1. Reed Johnson's in the on-deck circle. Peavy has gone 21 consecutive scoreless innings for the White Sox. Paul Konerko is hitting .385 during the month of June. They've made up 7 games in the standings in 2 weeks, in their longest streak in 49 years. 11 straight. Ethier grounds to the right side. Teixeira flips, and the inning is over. We go into the 8th inning. The Yankees will bat 2 more on the board for the Dodgers, having fun tonight. 9-4 LA. And it's a 9-4 Dodger lead. Yankees led 3-0 after the first half inning, but for the most part, the Dodgers have had all the fun since. Jeter has a hit on his birthday, been on base twice, scored a run. And then one hit for Teixeira, a 3-run shot. Rodriguez, Cano. Gardner has 2 singles. Defensive changes for the Dodgers. Jamie Carroll takes over at second base. Reed Johnson is in the game on left. So DeWitt is out. Manny Ramirez is out. And Jeff Weaver takes over on the mound. Turns his back to the hitter as he spins one home, and that misses. Weaver wants to know where. Ball 1. Pretty good pitch. A 1-0 pitch from Weaver. Outside, it's 2-0. Red Sox put Pedroia on the disabled list with a fracture in his foot. They lost Clay Buchholz running the bases in their game in San Francisco earlier tonight. We'll have a DirecTV game break regarding that game here in a minute. There's a foul. 2-1.
Joey, we've been talking about the All-Star game that will be played a week from Tuesday on July 13th. And Jeff Weaver's brother Jared has a 7-3 record for the Angels with a 3.01 earned run average. It's extraordinary for an American League pitcher.
It is, and it's another example. I mean, it's not a blow you away type example, but it's another example as Swisher gets one down the right field line toward the corner, and he will have a leadoff double here in the 8th. That for whatever reason, 2010 is definitely, at least here in the first couple of months, now almost 3 months, the season of the pitcher. I mean, whether it's closer control over performance-enhancing drugs, better job regulating greenies or amphetamines in this game, whatever it is, it's all pointed toward the year of the pitcher through June 25th. That's through the games last night. There have been 140 shutouts, the most since '89. 4 no-hitters, the most since 1917, one last night. 2 perfect games, tied for the most all-time since 1880. And then you've got pitching records and ERAs and guys like Andy Pettitte, tomorrow night starter for the Yankees. He was having one of his best first halves ever at the age of 38.
Yeah, and 25 1-0 games. Games where both pitchers are pitching well.
There's strike 2 on Cervelli, 0-2. Even Jamie Moyer at the age of 47 still in on the act. Beat Cleveland on Tuesday 2-1, his 266th career win to tie Bob Feller. Jamie Moyer also allowed his 505th home run, which is tied for the most ever allowed in Major League Baseball history with the late Robin Roberts. 1-2 on Cervelli, who is 0 for 3 tonight. That's inside, kind of looked like Cervelli was trying to lean into it. 2-2.
It did. Not only did he make no effort to get out of the way of it, it looked like he tried to leave that left elbow.
I think it did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here comes a 2-2. The pop up on the infield, and Jamie Carroll just into the game, hauls in out number 1. How about a DirecTV game break? Chris, Kevin.
Center field, number 11, Brett Gardner.
So a great catch, and then he deked the fans out there in center field in San Francisco. You want the souvenir? I'm keeping it. So That's up to date. Unless something big happens here in the last inning and 2/3, it'll be a 2-game lead in the division for the Yankees. Tampa Bay, they won today. David Price, their young left-hander, with 11 strikeouts.
Winning his 11th game.
Here is a 1-0 pitch from Jeff Weaver. Good fastball outside corner. A ball and a strike on Brett Gardner, who's 2 for 3. On deck is Colin Curtis. Weaver's been at this for a while and at one time pitched for the Yankees for Joe Torre. The 1-1. Inside corner, strike 2. David Robertson getting loose for the Yankees in their pen. Did you know that Dodger Stadium is the 3rd oldest ballpark in the big leagues?
Hard to believe.
Moved in here in '62.
Yeah.
The Dodgers did. They're playing at the Coliseum, and it is the 3rd oldest, obviously, Wrigley and Fenway. Fenway's the oldest, 1912, then Wrigley, then '62 Dodger Stadium. That's the stadium turnover in the big leagues.
And the O'Malley family, from the get-go, took immaculate care of this ballpark.
Sherrill is the left-hander, and the closer is Jonathan Broxton, who needs some work getting loose on the left. He hasn't had much of an opportunity to do his thing. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Gardner. 2-2. This may be one of the older parks left in baseball, but it's tough to find a prettier setting for this game.
In short, there's simply not a more convivial spot for happy ever aftering than here in Camelot. It's a 9-4 game. Come on.
I'm not fighting it. The 2-2 pitch. Down and in, full count. The setting with the mountains in the background, and even the shot of the bullpen's nice with all the trees out there and the shrubbery that pitchers get ready in front of. Palm trees. Great temperature. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Runner at second, 1 out. And a walk. What about the difference between here and Brooklyn? Ebbets Field opened in 1913. It cost us $750,000, $25,000, which was expanded to $32,000, and then Dodger Stadium opened in 1962, cost $23 million. The capacity, what was it, 56,000. And the Dodgers now have played more games here in Dodger Stadium than they did at Ebbets Field. Here comes Joe Torre. Jeff Weaver will hand it off. As we plod through these last few innings, Weaver is gone. And Sherrill is coming in. He goes 1/3, allows 1 hit, walk 1. He gives way to the left-hander, George Sherrill. And at the plate is Chad Huffman. Just 1 for 7 this season over 4 games. This is the number 9 spot. And the first pitch is strike from the lefty Sherrill. Because of the injuries to Nick Johnson, Marcus Timms, this is a very inexperienced bench that the Yankees have. Start of the game, the only guy there with any veteran presence is Posada. Strike 2. You've got 3 rookies and Ramiro Pena in his 2nd year, but Colin Curtis, Chad Huffman, Kevin Russo. It's an area that if they don't get Nick Johnson back, and obviously that pushes somebody else to the bench. Marcus Timms, until he comes back, that might be an area they try and upgrade. Here's one into left field and just into the game. Reed Johnson makes the catch, 2 out. Swisher, who led off the inning with a double, stays at second. Runner at first is Gardner, and here comes Jeter.
That was a pretty good curveball from George Sherrill. And Huffman went down to get it. One of those Adam balls right at the left fielder, Reed Johnson.
And Joe Torre is going to make another pitching change. Broxton has needed work. Broxton will get work as Joe Torre comes out of the dugout. Here comes big Jonathan Broxton with Jeter coming up. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the 8th. Dodgers leading it by 5. Big is listed at just under 300 pounds. 294 from Georgia, 26-year-old, and he can, with that size, bring it. Last time we saw him on a Saturday, he gave up the game-winning hit to Dustin Pedroia in a 5-4 win for the Red Sox over the Dodgers at Fenway. That was last Saturday. Different story here today. 2 on, 2 out, and Jeter's going to have to crank it up. Fouls away strike 1.
And unfortunately, a different story for the Boston Red Sox, who will be playing without the services of Dustin Pedroia for a while. Dustin breaking his left ankle last night on a foul ball.
Red Sox made a move today to try and help their middle infield. Marco Scudero's banged up. Their everyday shortstop. 2 on, 2 out. Broxton blows it right by the bat of Jeter. That's strike 2. What was that trade, Ken Rosenthal, that I know you were on top of earlier today?
Yeah, not a major deal, Joe, but they brought in Eric Patterson, Corey's younger brother, from the A's, and he'll serve a utility role for them. This happened awfully quickly. I asked an Oakland person about it this morning, and he said, no, we haven't heard from them yet, but obviously Pedroia's issue forced their hand.
That is a big missing piece for the Red Sox as they battle in the division. Here's the 0-2. Jeter fouls it back. Derek Jeter, who refers to Joe Torre as Mr. Torre. He's part of that core 4 Mount Rushmore for this Yankee team. Jeter, Posada, Andy Pettitte, who gets the ball tomorrow night, and Mariano Rivera, who's 40 years old, and he's throwing harder than he has in the last couple of years. Did so last night when he got the save. Here's an 0-2. And a foul tip hung on to by Russell Martin. Inning over. Bottom of the 8th rolls in at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers having fun here at home as they lead the Yankees 9-4. Game 1, Jackie Robinson stole home. And then in the 6th inning of Game 7, Sandy Amorose made a terrific catch that helped prevent the potential tying run. Bums from Brooklyn finally had their first World Series title. Show you some of the history, and now here in Game 2 of this interleague series, we're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Chad Huffman stays in the game and left. And David Robertson takes over on the mound. Chan-Ho Park went 2, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, walked the batter. And now it's Robertson.
When the Dodgers moved out here to Los Angeles in 1958, they dropped that affectionate nickname from Brooklyn, Dem Bums. Dem Bums were no longer Dem Bums.
Jamie Carroll first up. How hard was it to come out here as a visiting player for you and anybody on your teams with the Cardinals or as you made your way through the big leagues, come out here and face the pitching that the Dodgers would throw at you.
And at that time, home plate was actually moved back about 20 feet when Koufax and Peranowski, Stan Williams, Don Drysdale, and then later on, Don Sutton, Rick Sutcliffe in the late 70s. Well, the Dodgers just prided themselves on pitching in the 60s and won pennants in 1963, 65, 66.
Chad Godin, a right-hander, getting loose. If you want to talk about that last championship, 1988, and pitching, you think of Oral Hershiser.
Oh, my gosh. Most valuable player that year in the National League Championship Series against the Mets, and then the MVP in the World Series when the Dodgers defeated the Oakland Athletics. Kirk Gibson's home run in this ballpark. How dramatic can it be?
Here comes a 1-2 to Jamie Carroll. His first at bat, good breaking ball, and down goes Carroll looking. It's a DirecTV game break. Back to the studio, guys.
First baseman number 7, James Looney.
Really? He could put a little act together.
Oh, sure.
Here is Loney. 1 out, nobody on, and James has had a nice night. 4 RBIs, 2 hits. Kevin Millar will be with me in the booth next Saturday when Steven Strasburg is scheduled to pitch at home for Washington against the Mets. Texas back in the win column. There's a strike, 1-2. So their streak ended last night. The Texas Rangers, they won 11 straight. Josh Hamilton's streak continues into today. He hit 19 straight. Now 20, so he got to hit today.
Josh Hamilton going into today's game was batting .495 for the month of June.
Cervelli's taken a pounding behind home plate tonight. 1 out, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The count on James Loney. So now 489 for the month of June, and here we are playing on the 26th. 8 home runs, 27 RBIs, and a 20-game hitting streak. That's to the shortstop Jeter. Couple of bounces, 2 out. And Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Toyota, by Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew, and by DirecTV. Watch and record in multiple rooms with just one DVR. They at times describe the crowd here as late arriving, leaving early at Dodger Stadium. They got here on time tonight, and they had fun from the beginning. This was an alive crowd. And some are leaving, but majority have stayed to watch the end of this one, as that's low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Casey Blake, who has an RBI double, a walk. He's been on base twice in 4 trips. Bottom of the 8th, 2 out, nobody on. Broxton will go back to the hill in the 9th and face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, leading by at least 5. So no save chance tonight for Broxton, who needs to get down on the mound and get some work in. That's down. 3-1. On 3-1, a swinging strike on Casey Blake, a full count. Tomorrow night, it's a pair of left-handers in this game as Andy Pettit will face off against Clayton Kershaw, the dynamic young left-hander who is really settling in as the ace here with the Dodgers. There's ball 4. A 2-out walk. There's Clayton Kershaw. But Andy Pettit became the 4th pitcher to go past 2,500 innings pitched for the Yankees. And he went 7 for his 6th straight start. Beat Arizona for win number 238 during the week. The 238 wins is 58th on the all-time list. One on, 2 out, ball 1. Whitey Ford has thrown the most innings in Yankee history, then Red Ruffing, Mel Stottlemyre, then Andy Pettit at 2,501. At the age of 38, he currently has the 4th best ERA in the American League. It's ball 2, 2-0.
And it's a statistic that we've used before, but it's worth mentioning again. No pitcher who is 100 games over 500 is not in the Hall of Fame. And Andy Pettit, as we speak, is 100 games over 500.
And not only has he been good in the regular season, but he's been one of the few real big game pitchers in the postseason.
Superb.
In his career. That's fouled out of play. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 2 out. And the next to Martin is way high. Full count. That means the runner Blake will go at first. And a 3-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Almost down to the end of my notes that I prepared for this game. It's taken so long. The only thing that I'm looking at that's still there is Lady Gaga coming into the clubhouse on Friday night. Maybe we'll just save that for a more important game, tighter game in the 9th inning.
Save it for yours and Kevin's game with Strasburg pitching next week.
You got it. I'll talk to him about it. That's out of play. Still a full count. And there it is next week. Engine number 37 will take the hill for the Washington Nationals and take on the New York Mets, who are right in the thick of the race in the NL East. Here's a line drive caught by Robinson Cano.
Strasburg received $15 million as a bonus, and he may pay it back by the All-Star break.
There's no doubt about that. Santa Monica. presented by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball. Ninth inning rolls in here at Dodger Stadium. Broxton struck out Jeter to end the eighth. The top half, and Ramiro Pena will be the pinch hitter for the Yankees. And the Yankee bench is empty except for Kevin Russo. And ball one down and in.
Joe, you talked about the bench, the Yankee bench earlier, and about how inexperienced it is, and that's certainly the case. But Pena is different. He can play third, short, second. A very, very valuable man for the Yankees and Joe Girardi.
And he's played the outfield.
Yeah, right.
Year.
He's played left field.
Two 2-0 is the count from Broxton. And now a strike. Just because I never get the chance to do this. The producer of today's game is Pete Macheska. The director is Bill Webb. Steve Horn is our editorial consultant. The associate director, Aaron Stoikov. The broadcast associate, Eric Mandia. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Fouled out of play. Technical producer is Sid Drexler. And our technical director is Jonathan Evans. Pre-game is produced by Don Bowie. Senior videotape producer Janice Kazaza. Coordinating studio producer Fox Sports Scott Ackerson. Senior VP of production Jack Simmons. And VP of production Jim Bernard. Two balls, two strikes on Ramiro Pena. Leading off the ninth inning. Broxton brings it, and Pena strikes out. Tied him up on a pitch down and in. DirecTV game break. Here's Chris. I know he's always on top of that kind of stuff, so see you in Washington, Kevin. We'll just stop off there, pick me up, and we'll go. Popped up on the infield off the bat of Teixeira. That's out number 2. And Alex Rodriguez will step to the plate. Well, this rivalry will continue tomorrow night, and it looks like the first 2 games will be split with a rubber game on Sunday night.
Yep. Unless the Yankees can mount a miracle comeback, trailing by 5 with 2 outs, and they're not going to do it.
Make some sort of a bold statement. Like
okay, they're not going to do it. They are not going to do it.
They come back, you'll walk to Sarasota from Los Angeles.
No, this game is over.
It is?
How's that? Is that definitive enough?
Yes. Strike one is just poured in from Broxton.
You coerce me into making a comment like that, and then you abandon me.
I'll walk with you. I'll walk to Sarasota with you if the Yankees come back.
From where? Here?
No. From Tampa.
From Tampa. You got a deal.
2 out, nobody on. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rodriguez went deep last night. He's up to 593 career home runs. Yankees will lead the AL East by 2 over both Boston and Tampa Bay. The Dodgers will remain 4 games behind San Diego. As the guys just told you, they won 2-1 over the Marlins. There's strike 2. 97 from Broxton. The Dodgers lead it. Corota will be the winner. He'll go to 7-5, and the loser will be Burnett. whose struggles in the month of June continued here tonight. That's inside. 2-2. Broxton has faced 3, retired 3, and he's got Alex Rodriguez in his way. He's blocking him from the shower right now. The 2-2 pitch. Oh, Jerry Crawford flinched. Tim thought he was off the hook, not having to walk to Sarasota. Watch Crawford.
Right shoulder came up, but not the right hand. Shoulders don't count.
Full count. Pitch is high and a 2-out walk. That was the 334th pitch of the night that we've seen, and that could only come from the mind of Pete Macheska, our producer, who loves numbers, totals like that.
It's a bunch of pitches.
Here's Cano. Cano waits. Rodriguez takes second. Catcher's indifference, fielder's indifference. The stolen base not awarded to Alex Rodriguez. Strike one on Cano. Robinson tonight is 1 for 4. Broxton ready with another, trying to close it down, and that misses. Ball 1.
Tough to close things down against one of the best hitters in baseball. Not one of the best young hitters, one of the best hitters, period.
And he has flourished, moving into the number 5 spot behind Rodriguez. Saw the home run on the update from Matsui. Here's a ground ball up the middle. Diving stop for Call. What an end to this game. Holy cow. What a play to get a guy who can run. And the Dodgers win it 9-4. A 3-hour, 49-minute game. And an electric ending on that play by Furcal to his left. We need to see that one more time as Joe Torre goes out to congratulate his team.
The ball did come up, it didn't stay down, but Furcal with the wherewithal to spin and throw a strike to first base. Unbelievable.
Mark Teixeira hit an early home run. Yankees led 3-0 in the first, but it was pretty much all Dodgers from that point on. A 9-4 win for LA. Coming up after the break, Chris Rose, Kevin Millar from the studio. From us.